playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of playalberta.ca. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. Lotto Max. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Tonight's draw, 27 million. The Brett Kulak of lottery draws tonight at playalberta.ca. Good afternoon. I am Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley. And we got a loaded show. We'll talk about the Oilers who they fired a lot of shots. They weren't a ton of quality shots, if we're being honest. Right? They had some good chances for sure, but it wasn't like it was 49 shots and you had 15, 18 high danger chances. There wasn't a ton of high danger for the Oilers. You know what? Bouchard obviously hitting the goalpost late in that game. Looked like he was close to scoring. Team played well. You can't criticize the effort. You know, obviously you would like a win in that instance. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, I know this just shows you the Oilers, they don't have a lot of depth. I'm kind of like, well, if your depth guys score 2 goals a game and then you add McDavid and Draisaitl to your lineup, I'm pretty confident that most games, one of their 2 lines is going to score a goal. And the power play is going to score a goal at least once every few games, bare minimum for sure. So I think the Oilers, you know what? There's lots of positives about how their team is going right now. They didn't give up very much, right? No Ekholm in the lineup, no McDavid, no Draisaitl. They weren't overwhelmed by any stretch of the imagination when it came to giving goals up. Now, I guess their power play this year, because they don't get a ton of chances. You kind of score a goal, 0.6 goals per game, give or take, is kind of where their power play is at. So I think your depth guys, I'm kind of fine with Edmonton's depth. I think they have more than enough, especially even better because, you know what, you're going to get Frederick in, you're going to get Kane in. Those guys are going to add more than take out of the lineup. Like, God love Max Jones, but Max Jones, since his first 2 games, has done a whole lot of nothing. Now, he did have one decent chance last night, but none of his hits are like momentum-changing hits. And so he's a player, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's a very hard role. Like the fighter role used to be the toughest role because it's mentally tough, everything. Now the hardest role in hockey, I think, is the 4th-line winger who plays 8 minutes a night, and you're trying in 9 minutes a night, and you're trying to make an impact. It's really hard. Extremely difficult. And it's stressful because you're not sure if you're in the lineup. I get it. But, Max Jones hasn't done a whole bunch. So when he comes out, Frederick or Kane, whoever comes in for him, they're going to do more. Just more skilled player, right? So that'll be an upgrade to your team. Obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl, they will add something that the team doesn't have right now, especially on the power play, but also 5-on-5. Like, I like Nugent Hopkins and Henrique. They're good players. Like, they're legit NHLers. But they're not McDavid and Draisaitl. So, the Oilers they want to be healthy. Noah Philp was recalled today on emergency basis, so he doesn't count on the cap because they played a player short last game. Now, does that mean 100% that none of McDavid, Draisaitl are going to play tomorrow? Not 100%, but probably increases it that they'll just, wait a little bit longer to see the return of 27 or 29. When? Honestly, I don't know. We'll see when you talk to the players. I know they've been skating, good sign, but skating and playing are 2 different things. So, overall, the Oilers, not a huge game to really get that upset about. You wish you could have won. Like last night, that loss might be the final nail in the coffin to get home ice advantage. Because if you win last night, now you're suddenly 2 back of the Kings who lost to Seattle. Right? That's the disappointment of last night's game. Well, that's one thing. The other disappointment to me. Now, I know people can say, oh, you can't force a guy to fight. Are you sure? So you can get an instigator, and I think some players are maybe more worried about the a suspension than an instigator. But how you go about it, you can skate by, Guess what? Trevor Zegras, Leo Carlson. Those are the guys now I'm going to go after and tell Gudas until you step up. It's your choice. Say it right in front of their bench. There's ways to do it. It might be uncomfortable. It might not be easy, but there's ways to do it. Get into a scrum, go right in there, grab him. Right now, maybe he'll turtle. Who cares? but message was sent. And now if this was a one game situation, then I would look at it and say, it's one game. But there's been multiple situations this year where one of their players got cheap shotted and nothing was done. Now, I'm not even talking about afterwards. I'm talking in the moment, right there, right then. And that, to me, is an organizational issue. Stems from the players you sign to what the coach values to what the players value. It's all encompassing. I understand today's game is not as aggressive or dirty as past years. That's fine. But you can still stand up and say, hey, enough's enough. And you can get a guy like Racco Gudis. You can get him to fight if you really want to fight, or you can go after him other ways. There's ways to do it. And to me, last night was kind of an illustration again that there's a lack of gamesmanship, of understanding. And I talked to Corey Perry about this earlier. Like, you can't stand up in the room and say, we got to do this, because it comes from within. And you got to have players who are willing to do it. And you know what? Part of it is being uncomfortable, being comfortable. That's a key. Success in any area of life, success in a relationship sometimes. You know, your wife, your husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, they ask you to do things that maybe you're not overly comfortable with. But if it's super important to them, you end up doing it, right? You get comfortable being uncomfortable. Leads to success in a relationship, in a team, in business, in lots of different ways. And right now, I don't believe the organization they can tell you everything they want. Oh, I tried to ask him to fight. He wouldn't fight. Other teams find ways to do it. So find a way to do it. It's that, to me, it's that simple. And the thing is, the longer it goes and the more often it happens, guess what? Teams recognize it, they see it, and they start to take advantage of you. If they know you're not going to react, they're more willing to do it. It's just that simple. And so it has to be a pack mentality. It has to be a team mentality. It doesn't matter, because today's NHL, come on. Even if you jump on the guy in a scrum, you don't even have to throw any puck. Get him wrestle, give him a little bit of a fist, whatever. Show that you're doing something. So who cares if you take a minor penalty? The Ducks power play is junk. And you should have confidence that your teammates can kill something off. That's the way I look at it. So to me, that was probably the most disappointing part about last night. And it's not don't even give me that it's a one game, because we've seen this multiple times this season by the Edmonton Oilers. So is it going to change until I see it change? No, it's not. And it has to come from GM, coach, everything else. Hey, Gregor, Trent Frederick did more in his 7 minutes than most Oilers do all year, JP, in terms of emotion. You're right. Hey, that's why I've been saying, I know some fans are frustrated that Trent Frederick hasn't got to play a lot since being acquired. And I get it. But I'm telling you, when he gets in, people will be like, oh, I see. He brings other elements. Not everything is goals, goal for percentage. What's my shot for percentage? What's my expected goals? Those are some things. They don't always track emotion. They don't track gamesmanship. And it's an element, and good teams have a mixture of all of it. And that's why I think Stan Bowman went out and got Frederick, because I think he knows, having talked to Stan, I can say fairly confident he knows there are some things that lack on his team. And to me, it comes from the team, but it's also your coach has to make it a priority. Right? If you play a certain way, the coach demands it. Hey, guys, we're going to play. We want to be guys who are on the right side of the puck in the D zone all the time. If you're not on the right side of the puck, you're not playing. Okay, coach. Right? We want this. You want this. So you ask specific things. Hey, we want to be a team that stands up for each other in the moment. And it's everyone. Who's the closest guy? Right? Run in there. And if you have to take a punch in the face with a glove on, you take a punch in the face with the glove on. Okay. This is not saying we're going to ask you to run in there and, oh, it's Derek Bugard, rest in peace, that you're going to have to jump. No, it's not. There's not many of those guys in the league now at all. Right? Like Radko Gudas, tough customer. Radko Gudas isn't punching the lights out of a lot of guys. He does more damage hitting than he does in a fight. You can rush in there and get your bear hug the guy. Just show that you care. That's all you have to do. No one's asking you to suddenly drop the mitts every time. But it has to become a priority. And all season long, it has not been a priority. Because actions always speak louder than words. Always. And the actions illustrate where they're at. So we'll talk about that. We'll get your thoughts. TR is going to be by. We'll talk to Struddy about it. We got Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. Kevin Gorg from Minnesota will join us. The Wild could be a huge game coming up for them on Wednesday. But the Wild, you look at it, they got 4 games remaining. They've got the Ducks. They've got the Sharks. Like they got a pretty good schedule here the rest of the way for the Wild. And I know that Flames and their fans are like, hey, we got a chance. And mathematically, yes, you have a chance. Mathematically, that is very true. But do they really have a chance? I don't think so at this stage of the game for Calgary. Just because now they're going to have a huge game on Friday night, right? Because the Flames are playing the Ducks tomorrow. The Wild are hosting the Sharks tomorrow. The Sharks, now there's never a guaranteed win, but my goodness, it's a pretty good chance to win that game. And then you have Vancouver, Minnesota, and Anaheim. So you look at Minnesota, they're playing all 4 teams. None of them are in the playoffs right now. That's a pretty favorable schedule for them. No question. Meanwhile, the Calgary Flames have 5 games remaining, and they play similar opponents. They have the Ducks. They have the Wild. They have the Sharks. But then they have LA and Vegas. Now, LA and Vegas might have nothing to play for at that point, but they might. We'll see. That LA game, of course, was a made-up game that was canceled due to the fires in LA earlier this year. Postponed, I should say, not canceled. So that's why they're playing that game on the 27th. So there you have it. So we'll talk about that. Also, the Montreal Canadiens. The Rangers, we've done this cons a lot. The Rangers, they're out. Okay? I know people mathematically, they got a chance. No, they don't. They're 6 back of Montreal. They got 5 games to go. The Habs have won 5 in a row. It is good night, Irene, for the New York Rangers. And they are going to go from the President's Trophy winner to missing the playoffs. And Demidov looks like he's going to come to Montreal. Now, he's got to get a work visa. So, and anybody who knows, that can take a while. It's never as quick as some of these teams would like. So we'll see. But the Habs, you're going to get a young player. I don't know how much of an impact he can be. He's a very skilled guy, very skilled player. Where's he going to fit in? I don't know. But it's a big addition. The Habs, they play the Red Wings tonight. Detroit, this is a must-win game for the Detroit Red Wings. You got to win in regulation to keep your very slim hope alive. Then Montreal's in Ottawa and Toronto. Then they got Chicago and Carolina, who's likely going to be resting everybody because they'll have nothing to play for on the 16th. So I like Montreal's schedule as well. Also, Conman, I want to get your thoughts. Big news today in sports. It doesn't happen. Now, it has happened a few times. I don't know if I can remember it being with 4 games left. I do remember when Robbie Ftorek got fired by the New Jersey Devils. Larry Robinson came in. They actually won the Stanley Cup that year. But to fire both the head coach and the GM, now let's be honest, the GM's job, there's not much he's doing at this point now that's going to alter what's happening on the court. But the Denver Nuggets, Conman, getting rid of both their head coach, Michael Malone, and general manager Calvin Booth. And basically it stems from, they were like, oh, you two can't get along? We're not picking sides. You're both out.
Yeah, interesting. And you wonder how it's going to impact the guys on the court if it provides some sort of spark or what it might do. But they have lost 4 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10, Gregor. And they've got the LA Clippers catching them in the standings just a game and a half back. Clippers playing some good ball as of late. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. It's one of those things, I guess, in hindsight, we're going to find out if it was the right decision, but kind of sends a shockwave through the room, I would think. And a little familiarity there with the coach, but still to lose a guy who got you to an NBA championship just a few years ago and not have the faith that he could right this ship, kind of surprising.
Well, clearly there was some disagreements there, and they felt, hey, if you can't get along, you can't play well in the sandbox, you're all done. So big changes there. We'll see if does it change? Like, obviously it's not going to change personnel, but they might change a little bit in how they run some offensive sets or not. We'll see. We got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. Hey, Greg's, we understood one for all for one. Back playing water polo. Screw with one of us, you deal with all of us. That's team mentality. 100%, man. 100%. Hey, guys, you have to go after their skill players and stars. It's the only way to get someone to fight nowadays. From Bing Dangle. Well, 100%. That you skate by their bench. And you say it so, hey, Gudis, you either answer the bell or Carlson, you're getting it. Zegras, you're getting it. And that's all you do. And you skate away. Mesh it sent. They'll figure it out. Right? And the orders, Pod Colson, they got lots of guys that can get in the face of Leo Carlson. Lots. So that's how you do it. But to me, that was not an ideal response from your team. And when you talk, we got to address it. Well, Corey Perry said they were going to address it. And then we remember the next game after that, the minute there was a scrum, yeah, they were all in there. How long did that last? And that's why I'm telling you, it has to become a commitment and it has to become an expectation from the coach and the leadership group. Has to. Hey, guys, is there any bad blood with Perry and the Ducks? He was a franchise player for so long from Lee. I don't think so. No, like he's been through how many teams since, right? Like he left in Anaheim. Remember, he got bought out. So I don't think, and I don't even know if there was any of the guys from that team last night that even played with Corey Perry the last time he was a member of the Ducks. Fowler's gone. Well, I guess John Gibson, but he's obviously not a skater. I'm trying to think, is there even a skater on that team who was there with Perry? I'm going to say no. Because they've pretty much retooled that entire team. And it's been, 6-7 years since he's been in Anaheim? So, yeah, I wouldn't think there was any bad blood there. None of the guys are left over. So, quick break. When we return, we'll talk a little a playoff push and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
You know how you look forward to all your favorite sports coming back in the spring? Soccer, baseball, golf. Well, GS Construction looks forward to getting back to work with the warmer weather. We're all excited and geared up for this very busy time of year. The groundbreaking season is upon us, and GS Construction is ready to roll with all sorts of new projects. Projects that help the community and make the place we live in better. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th, pairing hockey fans with some of their favorite players from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend in support of the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories. Friday features a champions luncheon followed by the teams hitting the ice on Saturday and Sunday in a friendly hockey tournament at Terwilliger Rec Center. To purchase a table to the champions luncheon or to learn more about how you can get involved in the tournament, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca for more info.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.223, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As we are, 11 days away from the start of the NHL playoffs. All right, baby. Only have 10 days left in the NHL regular season. Tuesday, Wednesday, up until next Thursday is when the regular season ends, and then it is rocking and rolling. The playoffs will begin this Saturday. Oilers, who look like they're going to play the Kings, aren't going to play on the Saturday. It's either going to be this Sunday or the Monday, and most likely in LA. Let's get to our playoff report, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. You can get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models. See more info at gmccanada.ca. And they're kind of a race mathematically, but the Minnesota Wild have a 4-point lead on the Calgary Flames. The Wild have 4 games left. The Flames have 5. They do have one head-to-head meeting this Friday. Both teams playing non-playoff teams tomorrow night, as the Ducks and the Sharks will be the opposition. The big thing, though, is the Wild is kind of like the Oilers, missing a few of their key guys. But what does the health train say? Kevin Gorg joins us, Minnesota Wild ringside reporter. Kevin, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's always fun to be with you up in oil country, and it's been that type of year for the Wild, that's for sure. Injuries have been the story. I mean, their best player, Kirill Kaprizov, when he got hurt the first time in December around Christmas, he was the betting favorite in most of the markets here in the States to be the MVP. He was on pace for over 120 points, and he's played 3 games since that Christmas break. And you add injuries to Joel Eriksson Ek, he's missed half the season, and then there's been a rotation of defensemen and key defensemen like Brodin, Spurgeon, right now Middleton, Faber's missed time. It's been unbelievable the amount of go-to players this team has been playing without this year. They got off to a great start. They got off to an 18-4-4 start, and that's kind of carried them through. And I guess the feeling is they're going to be a heavy underdog if and when they get in the playoffs, likely going to play a team like Winnipeg. But if you have Ek and Kaprizov healthy, and they are the players they were at the peak of their game early in the year, less half a season of wear and tear, there is certainly some hope there.
So what's the update on Kaprizov?
Well, he looked great today at practice. We were all excited to get to the rink today to see practice because he had been skating on his own. It had been going well with Andy Ness, our skating coach with the Wild, and today was going to be the first day he was going to be able to see contact. And he and Ek both skated on the extra line, which was disappointing because with the game tomorrow, we kind of felt like the tell today might be if John Hines had either one of those guys on a regular line. But the lines were exactly the same as we saw against Dallas over the weekend. We talked to John Hines after practice. They both looked great. They took contact. Ek was working on face-offs after practice, an individual skill set. But Hines was very vague on whether they could play tomorrow. He said, they're going to wait and see how they bounce back from this practice. My guess is of the two, Kaprizov is closer. But with the back-to-backs this weekend and the Wild play in Calgary on Friday, then over in Vancouver on Saturday, I think it'd be really surprising if they don't play tomorrow, that they would come back for a back-to-back situation. So morning skate tomorrow is going to be a little different than most, a little more important.
So it won't 100% no, but would it be fair to say, if not ready for Wednesday, that you could see both of them in that big game against Calgary on Friday?
You would think so, yeah, because if they bounce out of that practice, okay, and they honestly, it was a 45-minute skate at the Xcel Energy Center. They both looked fantastic. They both took plenty of hits, showed no signs of any regression, and they both are chomping at the bit. Both these guys are wired where they want to play, and I know it's been hard for them to sit out, and that game in Calgary could be and probably will be extraordinarily important. I think for Minnesota right now, they're just trying to take it one day at a time. It's been an absolute grind these last few weeks. That road trip out east was tough. It didn't go their way. They played very well in New Jersey and New York against the Rangers. Got a point in each of those games, and then they really did not play very well against the Islanders to close out that trip. So the win on Sunday against Dallas was huge. And truthfully, it's the oldest cliche in the game, but they really honestly are taking it like one day at a time as it comes. And the one thing we did find out today, Marc-Andre Fleury will be getting the start tomorrow night at home against San Jose. And I don't think they're throwing anybody a bone here. This game is gigantic. It's a game they can ill afford to lose. But, if you're going to play him this weekend in a back-to-back situation, his starts have been few and far between. Gustafson's kind of taken over here for a couple of weeks. And we kind of figured this would be the night they'd probably get him back in and then at least guarantee he'll get one more game in front of the home fans.
Yeah, and you don't want to look ahead because you got the Ducks and the Sharks. The Sharks are obviously playing out the string. Calgary beat them last night. Kind of a gift from Wenberg, veteran player late in that game. But you look at the Wild and their injuries, and obviously Kaprizov is huge. Like he's almost a goal and a half a game average when he's on your team, right? He was averaging 1.41 points per game. So that's a major blow to your offense. Matt Boldy stepped up. He's played well. Marco Rossi's had a good season, but it's also, on the back end, right? Spurgeon being injured again. Middleton has missed 10 games. Brodeen's being injured. Like they've had a rash of injuries. Is this team, like if Kaprizov and Ek play, is the rest of their team going to be healthy? And how many games this year have they had kind of like their full complement of players?
It's been under probably 10, 12 games with the full complement. And the one thing we've talked about on our broadcast covering the team is, and listen, Bill Guerin, knows exactly what he's doing. And we've been dealing with the Suter and Parise buyout penalties. But with the injuries they suffered this year, there just was so little room for error. And it became a math equation, Jace, where most nights when this team would hit the ice, they'd be around, $40, $42 million in salary, taking on teams that are in the mid to upper $80 million salaries. That's a situation that's going to get tough. And, the one thing we talked about before the year started, if you're going to already take off almost $15 million in cap penalties with the Suter and Parise buyout, and this thankfully is the final year we'll ever have to talk about that. You could not afford to have any of maybe your top 4 or 5 players miss significant time. And really, when Kaprizov and Ek miss half a season, and you mentioned some of those defensemen that have all missed 10, 12, 15, 20 games, it takes its toll. And my biggest concern about this hockey team right now would be how much energy have they had to expend to hold this position and to make the playoffs? You know, obviously Rossi and Boldy are playing more minutes. Marcus Foligno's on the first line. He's playing power play and penalty kill. He's playing more minutes. With the injuries on the blue line, Brock Favors had to step up and play gigantic minutes. Gustafsson has had to play way more games than I think they ever anticipated he would have to play. And, you know, again, the Wild will be happy to worry about this problem, but you think of a matchup with Winnipeg where it's a narrow razor of room for error against a team of that quality. How much energy have they expended to get there? And so right now they just want to get there and then see what 14 and 97 can bring if they're healthy again and they are the player that they can be. That is huge, but it's honestly, it has been a strange season, and I know these guys have put it all out there. Like there's nobody in that locker room that hasn't been extended a little bit.
What was Kaprizov's latest? Like, was it being the reoccurring injury? What's been his injury?
They're saying lower body. We all speculated some type of groin / sports hernia type of deal. They haven't given us any of the specifics. We do know he went to New York to see a surgeon, and he's been back and forth. In fact, on that most recent road trip the Wild had out east, he got to meet and get the clearance from that doc. And clearly, when he came back the first time, remember, he went out right after the Christmas break, and when he came back for a couple of games, he just didn't look himself. He wasn't. He didn't have that separation to his stride. He wasn't able to get any open ice, and that's when the Wild and Kirill kind of said, "Listen, we got to figure this out." And so when you're dealing with something like that, with a guy that has that type of skating ability that's so impactful when he's healthy, they were trying to figure out a way to get him healthy in time for the end of the season. And so I'm going to tell you and again, it's always hard watching practice, as you know. I mean, it's still just a team practice, but he has looked spectacular. He has looked himself, the guy that he was the first couple months of the year. So that's super encouraging from a Minnesota Wild perspective. But until you see him back out there in a game and can actually measure him against an opponent and see him play 20 to 25 minutes like the Wild would love him to do, and see how he reacts after that game, you really can't be too confident right now.
Talking about the Wild with Kevin Gorga, ringside reporter. And Kevin, you mentioned, the great start in the Wild have kind of just been slugging along here. They had a huge win over Dallas, right? That kind of allows them to exhale a bit and look and say, okay, guys, like win 2 of our remaining 4 games and we're in a real good situation here. And obviously, if the game against Calgary you win in regulation, it's pretty much lights out in Irene. But you look at this Wild team and are they fatigued at all having to play through all these injuries, or is it going to be such a huge boost getting guys back? How do you see it?
Well, physically, I don't think they're in too bad a shape. Mentally, I'd be shocked if there wasn't some fatigue. It really has been playoff mode now for a few weeks. And because St. Louis, Calgary, and Vancouver specifically here in these last 2 or 3 weeks got so hot and really amped up the pressure on Minnesota, they've had to empty the tank. So you wonder about the mental side of it. Physically, they're in pretty good, a pretty decent spot right now. And, you got young guys that are being extended. I've mentioned Faber, Rossi, and Boldy primarily as some of the guys have really had to see their minutes pumped up a little bit. They're all young guys in their early 20s. They'll be just fine physically. In fact, Matt Boldy, was the best player on the ice in that win over Dallas. He can move the needle, no doubt about it. But he's just a better player when Kirill is out there. I mean, they're usually going to be on different lines, and you can't have your opposition layer up when you've got multiple lines that feature Kirill on one and Boldy on the other. The problem for Rossi and Boldy, and fans get frustrated because their production goes up and then it goes down. Well, every team knows right now that that's all they have. I mean, after you get by the Rossi and Boldy combination, for a while it was Zuccarello. Right now it's Marcus Foligno. Once you get past that, there just aren't a lot of proven goal scorers on this roster right now. And so their production is going to kind of come and go, whether the power play is going or whether it's a matchup they can get sometimes on home ice like they did on Sunday. But truthfully, these guys have been putting out there night in and night out, being around the team. You feel good about the effort they're putting out there. It's just the results here the last half of the season have been a little hit or miss, and I think a big part of that is this team does not have the depth right now to have the type of injuries they've had, and they've had them all year long.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season for the Wild. Well, Kevin, we look forward to it. It might be the biggest regular season game of the year on Friday night. The Wild and the Flames might be the only playoff race left, so we'll be tuning in. It should be interesting.
Well, if you're a fan of the Oilers, of course, you're all going to cheer for the Minnesota Wild, so we appreciate the extra love.
Well, yeah, I think if Oilers fans had a choice, yes, they would pick Wild over the Flames. Definitely if it was the Canucks. We did a poll. I think they hate the Canucks more than they hate the Flames right now. But, so, we'll see.
That's part of the deal. That's the beauty
good.
This time of the year.
Yeah.
It's always fun to scoreboard watch, whether you've got a dog in the fight or you're just rooting against one of your rivals.
Very true. Kevin, enjoy it, man. Should be a fun 72 hours.
Thank you so much.
Kevin Gorg, ringside reporter for the Minnesota Wild. Of course, they got the Sharks tomorrow. The Flames have the Ducks. Both teams win. Then Minnesota's down to 3 games left. The Flames would have 4. They would be 4 points back. If they win that head-to-head matchup, they'd then be 2 back with the game in hand. The next night, Minnesota plays Vancouver. Then they have Anaheim, their final 2 games. The Flames would play the Sharks, the Kings, and the Golden Knights. So they definitely have the tougher final 2 games against the Golden Knights and the Kings, and they might not have anything to play for. So we'll see. Quick break. When we return, we're going to talk Trent Frederick, the high ankle sprain. We're going to talk Stuart Skinner, neck concerns coming off of that injury, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win games with salad.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul,
Edmonton Trailer.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Another big goal for number one, Titan Supply. They're dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Stop by the showroom throughout March and April for all the details about Nisku Ford's Keys for 10K giveaway. Just imagine the spring trips, plans, and projects you could pay for.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I love the word April. April would be a good nickname for me because April is the month where we have the most quality used RVs on our lot. That includes camping trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, toy haulers, big ones, small ones, and they're all in one convenient location here in Leduc.
Sounds like a lot of used RVs, Rick.
That's right, Bob. We always have hundreds of used RVs for you to see up close and personal. But in April, we have even more because the people who sell their RVs with us know that this is when folks are looking to buy. It's the best time of the year, whether you're buying or selling.
Sounds like you'll be busy in April, Rick.
You know it, Bob. Our team works hard connecting families with the right used RV for their outdoor lifestyle. With one trip to No Bull, you can see more RVs than you'd ever think possible. And it's a great way to spend a day in April.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.44, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Declan Cougar running things, of course, online. As always, as it's time to get to our injury report brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Did you know that the team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis? Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com as Grant Fedork from Leading Edge joins us once again. Grant, how are you, my man?
I'm doing really good, Jason. Really good.
You're wearing the Red Bull. Oh, man. Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent. Actually, it's pretty competitive. 3 weeks, 3 winners. So that's pretty good, actually, for F1.
It's been a great year. I wear the Red Bull to annoy my daughter, who's a big Ferrari fan. So.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to get you on, Grant, because, there's a lot of people, they rushed him back, right? Like that's, I don't know if they ever rush a player back. And high ankle sprains, Grant, like you've treated lots of them. Yeah. The thing is, you can never fully emulate what's going to happen in a game of hockey when you think of all the force and to go in and hit a guy and suddenly you got one leg off in the air and maybe it's your weak leg that's on the ice and now you're bearing all the brunt of extra weight. Like, what did you see? What do you think happens to Frederick? Like we saw it on his first shift. Like it was 6 seconds, delivers a hit and he's out and then he plays again. He skates. Can you kind of describe why the high ankle sprain is so much harder to recover from than just a normal sprain?
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons. The primary reason they're harder to recover from is the amount of instability. So the ligaments that kind of hold your two shin bones together, that's what's affected here. So we're talking about, there's a membrane goes down your shin called the interosseous membrane. That's affected. You've got the anterior and posterior tib fib ligaments. This is basically what keeps your ankle bones, your two bones, from splaying. The rest of the ankle, when you have a lower ankle injury, it's kind of what attaches your foot to the ankle, not keeping the two bones together. So it plays a huge role in stability, number one. Two, my experience with these over time has been that they swell and they keep swelling and they cause pain a lot longer than a typical lower ankle sprain. With a lower ankle sprain, when the swelling goes away, the player feels good. It's not healed, but they can play on it because it doesn't hurt them really as much. They might not have full strength. They might not have full stability. They might not even have that swelling entirely gone. But when the majority of the swelling is gone, most of the pain goes away as well. However, with a high ankle sprain, that tib fib ligament, those structures, they keep hurting and swelling for a lot longer. Harder to play with, way harder to play with. Tack onto that the instability, the fact that these feet, and I should also say the boot kind of plays a big role in helping with the lower ankle sprain too. The fact that you're wearing a skate, it kind of helps provide some stability. Believe it or not, higher up in the shin, you don't get that same support. Very hard for us to apply any external force or pressure or anything like that to provide the stability for a player. So it takes longer and it hurts more.
And so, Frederick practices, he's skating. Coach, I feel great. Everything's good. You can do all the testing. And then when he gets into the game, like, how can anyone with any sort of knowledge accurately say, oh, they rushed him back? Because you can be fine and then just, somehow re-aggravate it, even though it's fully healthy, correct?
Yeah, it's tough. It's on these ones, you've got to listen to a player, and the player's you really have to listen to them. You can watch them, you can test it, you can do everything that you want to do. However, it's down to the player's report. And if they go out and you push them in practice, put them through all the paces as close to game as you can, so scrimmaging, things like that, and they say they're feeling fine, you ultimately have to go with that. Time frames of healing play a big role, so you do want to follow those. You know that at a certain phase, it's not through the healing process. So you are using medical evidence to make those decisions. But once you're past a certain time frame, now you're into actual performance, functional, how functional are they and what are they telling you? So are you rushing them back, Jason? I don't know. I mean, it depends. If the player's telling you everything and it all lines up, then no, you're not rushing them back. And yes, they could still re-injure it. It could hurt more. It can provide some or give them a lot of trouble during play that you recognize and you say, I don't want you out there anymore. I mean, there's so many variables here.
Now, Grant, in a situation like this, would there be because I know sometimes, guys have surgery and they're like, oh, there's going to be pain when you break down the scar tissue, right? Like it kind of hurts, but it's part of the healing. Is there such a thing as scar tissue in a high ankle sprain like this? Like, is there something that, you aggravated, but in a way that's just part of the process, or is that completely a non-factor in this?
No, so there's always scar tissue. That's how everything is a production of collagen in order to heal, especially with ligaments. That's exactly what's going on. So it's a fibrous tissue. It needs to heal. It goes through it. That's scar tissue. You need scar tissue after an injury or you don't recover. Unfortunately, it'll never look exactly the same as it did before. So to answer your question, they're all going to have it. Does it play a role? I mean, certainly there will. With a higher ankle sprain like this or a high ankle sprain like this, pain inhibits performance, no question about it. And swelling and capsular swelling and the stuff that's happening inside the joint limits their function as well. So that's all going hand in hand. And like I said earlier in the question, it goes on for way longer. Nobody can anticipate how long it's going to go on for. And some of these, unfortunately, they remain so unstable that they do end up needing a repair. It depends on which ligaments are damaged. Like if you've got all three of them involved, the anterior, posterior, and the interosseous, it's where the bones. I want to drop a whole bunch of big names, but it's it's this fascia that extends all the way along between the two bones.
Okay.
Actually, a membrane. If you damage all three of those, sometimes they need a repair, especially if it limits function for a long period of time. And I've treated these. I don't want to scare anybody out there, but I've seen these take 6+ months to recover. Yeah. They also don't look the same when they swell. Interestingly enough, we've all sprained our ankle and it looks like that big puffy thing over our ankle bone. With these, it looks like this big thickening. It's almost like a donut around the whole ankle. That's what it looks like. It's actually one of the things when I see it from afar, I'll be like, oh, that's a high ankle sprain. It stands out and they're very difficult. Again, they're tough. Usually it even hurts to lace up a skate. So if he was able to skate, he was probably doing pretty good. And then what happened to him in the game, I don't know. Could have taken 3 strides and a stop that did it. Lots of things can happen. And you're right, legs up in the air, legs down on the ice. You don't know what's going to cause that injury.
Now, Greg, could you, when you re-aggravate it, could part of it just be like the pain of, breaking down the scar tissue and it hurts for a bit, but you don't necessarily do more damage?
Yeah, sometimes. Unfortunately, if it's still limiting to that extent and it swells right up, you're essentially what's happening is those fibers are trying to heal. Think of it this way. It's like kind of gluing a door or a door jamb and a piece of wood together. And if it doesn't mend and hold exactly the whole time, and you pull it on it too soon, now your body's got to put down more glue again. It's got to glue it up again. So now you put down more glue.
Yeah.
And what you got to prevent is those re-injuries consistently happening over and over again, because you're not necessarily starting the process from the beginning, but you're certainly going back in time and having to go through a healing kind of phase again, which when you keep doing that, it adds up to a long, long period of time.
So it's really impossible for anybody to say with any certainty. Now, Knobloch did say, feels, hey, Stan Bowman said they'll be ready for the playoffs, which is, just under 2 weeks away. So you kind of go from there, but it's safe to say like Trent Frederick's probably not going to be 100% until he has multiple months off.
Yeah, I hope that it's one of those things where he felt it and he just said, at this phase of the season, I'm not gonna push it at this point. I don't know. We're all guessing. At the end of the day, the only person who can speak to that is the actual player. I don't even think the physicians can tell you, because at the end of the day, if he was out there, he didn't feel right. I don't know what it looked like afterwards. Did it swell right up? Did he lose his strength? Are those tests that we do? There's a compression test we do. There's a few different things that we'll do. Are those positive now and they weren't positive before, which would indicate a re-injury? There's a lot of factors here to determine whether he's going to be back in time. I can tell you that these take, I would say if the average ankle sprain takes like 6 to 8 weeks to kind of fully get back to sport, a high ankle sprain is 3 to 6 months. That's my experience.
Yeah, Grant Fedoruk joins us. Now, Grant, Stuart Skinner, that no one ever said publicly he was in a concussion, but he got hit blatantly right in the head. My understanding was, head, but also neck tightness. And that becomes such a factor. You guys deal a lot with concussions, right? And so you have a blow like that, hits you in the head, but it's kind of the side and it's jarring to the neck. What do you do? And especially a goaltender, like there's so much with tracking in your neck and you got to go, laterally and side to side. For a guy like Skinner, what's the protocol coming back from, let's say, real neck tightness? How do you loosen that up for a goalie? What has to happen?
So let's take away the concussion, and because with a head injury, lots of times there's some sort of neck injury as well, and they've got to be treated together. Assuming there's no head injury involved, or if there was, it was mild and he's passed all of the protocol and we're looking just at the neck. So many different things can be going on. I like to break them down to make it simple for people. It's often either biomechanical, meaning is it the joints and the joint's not moving well? Is there something restricting the joint from moving? Is it muscular? So that's kind of, is it the muscles around the neck? We got to determine what's limiting the motion there. If it's muscular, typically, the protocol around it is he's going to be actively doing deep tissue massage. He may be getting treatments like IMS, which is a type of dry needling that releases muscles around the neck, allowing them to freely move. If it's biomechanical, now we're talking about joint mobilization. He may be seeing a chiropractor to actually move that joint beyond its normal range in order to get relaxation of all the tissue around it. So there's a lot of things going on. Jason, when I'm treating him, I just treat it all. I'm not worried. I don't get too caught up in the PhD of it. I determine what's not moving and I move it. If it's soft tissue that needs to be mobilized, I mobilize it. In this case, he'd be doing a lot of stretching. These guys are absolute specimens when it comes to mobility. So they know how to stretch and how to keep it moving. At the end of the day, for a goalie, you're not wrong. He's got to be able to move his neck. Now, here's the thing. Even if he's got full range of motion, can he do it rapidly? Can he do it exactly like all the way as far as he needs to go? And then he's wearing a helmet and a mask, or he's got something on his head as well. So he's going to need that strength back at the same time. Lots of factors. Necks, love to treat them. So we can talk about this all day.
Yeah, it is interesting to me though. Like the tightness of the neck is so important. It's really crucial, even coming off of, like we saw it with Sidney Crosby, that they found out many years after that it's kind of misdiagnosed. It wasn't just a concussion. They're all folks, it was all sort of neck tightness. And now that's, 15 years ago almost, right? So that everything's changed, and it was kind of the early stages of it, really, when you think about it. And so now I'm sure as much as you focus on a head injury, you focus so much on the neck because there's so much tension in there, correct?
Yeah, you got to cover it all. I mean, at the end of the day, a head injury, there's going to be some involvement in the neck. For Sidney Crosby, there was a vestibular dysfunction that went along with it that also got missed. So there was a few things that weren't addressed early in his recovery. The neck, let's put it this way, in order for you to function well as an athlete, your neck needs to be moving. Your muscles you've got to maintain strength too to keep your head up.
Yes.
And then what they have to do, look, like I'm wearing a F1 shirt right now. Imagine, have you seen the necks on F1 drivers? I mean, these guys, they're not huge guys, but their necks are extremely powerful. NHL hockey players, they've got to absorb blows. They've got to be able to keep their body. And we talk about core for the for the lower back. Your neck has its own muscles that are stabilizing all the time as well. So those need to be trained very well. So not only do we get that range of motion back, not only do we get the joint biomechanics moving in the right direction, but they have to be strong. These guys, they've got all the tools they need to get it going. I don't believe that in most scenarios the neck is going to be one of those problems that keeps somebody from coming back, at this stage of the game.
And groin injuries, Grant.
We're all over.
Oh God, they're all over. Like honestly, we just had Kaprizov had it, and the skating style, right? Because it's so unnatural, like the motion of skating when you think about it. So I don't know if players are naturally more susceptible for it, or maybe it's because the game's faster. I don't know, but we have seen an uptick in groin injuries, and you treat a lot of athletes. Any idea why in hockey we're seeing more?
I don't know if we're seeing more. They're there. They've always have been with hockey. It's not an uncommon injury. Sure, the game is faster. Let's not kid ourselves. The game is and the size of the players and everything going on out there, everything's happening at a quicker speed. Could that be playing a role? For sure. We haven't seen any major equipment changes in the last while. It's not like blades are getting sharper or anything like that, but the motion of skating definitely puts the groin in a position where it's going to be injured. Your groin muscles essentially adduct. They're the strong muscles that pull your knees together at your hips. Okay, so when we're pushing out, we're putting them on stress. So when you're pushing your striding out away, you're actually lengthening the adductors. So if you think about it, when you're using those muscles so strong and putting them in those positions with a quick pivot or a turn of the pelvis while the leg stays outstretched like that, so easy to end up with a groin strain. It's common, happens in most sports, but it happens in hockey, very, very common.
Yeah. Okay. And like the recovery time from groins, can it be like you'd mentioned the sprains, a high ankle sprain depends on, which ligaments that you're pulling. Is it the same with the groin? Like you can have a slight tear, you can have a severe one. Is there multiple different levels of it? Does it get into the core? How's it work?
Yeah, so for sure, there's different degrees, first degree, second degree, third degree, the way for people to kind of picture, and that happens with ligaments as well. So that depends on the amount of tearing that happens in a high ankle sprain as well. So a ligament attaches bone to bone, whereas a tendon muscle to bone. And what happens is when you strain these, they're tears. First degree, picture a piece of paper and all you've done is barely kind of started a little tear at the edge of it. That's a first degree. Second degree is really variable. Goes all the way from that tiny, tiny little tear at the edge of the piece of paper, all the way until you've ripped almost all the way through the whole piece of paper and it's barely holding on. Yes. That's all a second degree strain. So when somebody says they've got a partial thickness or a second degree strain, boy, that could be a very minor second degree, or it could be just teetering on being ruptured, which is a third degree. Each one of those in that second degree realm will take different periods of time to heal. Okay. There's a certain number of fibers that are torn. So it's literally like, let's use glue as an analogy. You need more glue if you've torn that piece of paper almost all the way through it. And it's going to take longer to go through that recovery process. We do know that soft tissue like this, at about 3 months, you've got a very stable tissue. First degrees, typically, if you guys are out there and this has happened to you, I see first degree strains that are back to activity in around 3 weeks, sometimes maybe 4. Second degree, though, is definitely variable. You are like being very careful with that tissue for up to 6 weeks. Third degree ruptures, that's a different story. Now we're looking at, does it need a repair? Are we just going to immobilize it and keep it close so that the body goes through a healing process on its own, which is typical with muscle? However, with like a third degree rotator cuff tear, it's not coming back. It's done. It's probably never going to mend. Whereas with a groin strain like that, and you've got a high, a lot of tissue that's damaged, you're not necessarily repairing them. But remember, when we've talked about some of the other things like this, the whole sports hernia that I don't like to use using the term, that can be part of the groin that's been torn that is causing that kind of pain in the pubic region. So there you go. That's kind of first, second degree, and third degree for everybody out there wondering what we talk about when we're talking about that.
Little extra glue. Now, at your advanced age today, Grant.
Yeah.
Is it? Are you 53? I didn't read that right, did I?
No, I'm 50. Today is the big.
Is it the big 50 today?
Yeah.
What are you doing for your birthday?
I'm doing this, man.
Oh well, that's highlight of your day for sure.
Do what I love. I'm telling people about injuries and trying to educate people and make them better off. Yeah.
Is you gonna tell your wife you have a groin injury later? That'll be smart. But are you doing anything for dinner?
I think, shout out to my friends at Sorrentino's. I'm going to go hang out there, have a good Italian meal. I'm Ukrainian, but I love Italian food, and it's like home over there. So,
are you getting? Did anybody at Leading Edge give you the bumps today?
No, I kept them. Everybody's been away from me. I'm not in the clinic today. I'm kind of in the office, so I've been just lonely Grant. I've got a lot of amazing messages from everybody out there, so I'm feeling pretty special today. I feel like there's a lot of love. So
It's big 5-0. You're looking good. Also, shout out one of your former. I was doing my Gregor grads fittings today, one of the schools, and turns out it's because he's asking me who was on the show, and I said, Fedor, we're going to talk about injury. He goes, I used to play with them lacrosse at the Sherwood Park Titans.
That's a true story. Yeah. I injured a lot of things. It wasn't many people I ever injured, but I definitely was the one getting injured playing lacrosse. I'm not a big guy, 5'6" at my best, and playing weight,
Okay.
150 pounds, didn't throw a lot of weight around, but I made up for it by speed and brains. That's what I keep telling everyone.
Brains. Well, there you go. Well, happy 50th, man. That's unreal. Good for you. Hope you have a great birthday, and thanks as always for educating us on injury rehab and more.
It's been great, and I appreciate getting to kind of chat with your listeners and for you opening those doors for me, Jason. I really do appreciate it.
Awesome, buddy. Have a good one.
Okay, take care.
There you go. That's Grant Fedor from a Leading Edge. 5-0 is looking good for 5-0. I like it. And a great rundown when it comes to, because I know a lot of people they rush him back. It's an easy thing to say, but you have nothing to back that up. I always recommend don't say that if you don't know, right? Like you're just guessing. You just heard it from a guy who's a trained professional who treats lots of high-end athletes. You go on timeline, you go a lot of things, but part of it's the feel of the player. You've done all the tests. Like there's not much more you can do. And, in the case of Frederick, hopefully maybe it was just you feel some pain, but you don't necessarily re-aggravate it enough. It's just, it still hasn't, it feels different. Like Trent Frederick isn't running guys in practice. He just isn't. So how do you know if you can handle a hit until you deliver one in a game? There you go. Stu Skinner, some good news there. I'm hearing he's practiced again, and we'll see if he's on the ice tomorrow. I don't expect him to play Wednesday, but maybe Friday against the San Jose Sharks. We will see. Oilers did recall. Connor Halley will update you in a update like that. We'll get to Terry Ryan when we return. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Road trips, job sites, daily commutes. No matter where you drive, you need a team that keeps you rolling. Fountain Tire is more than just tires. They'll handle everything from alignments to brakes, shocks, and full mechanical services. Find your nearest store at fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
As Gregor mentioned, yes, the Edmonton Oilers have recalled forward Noah Phil from the Condors on an emergency basis. In his last 10 games, he's got 4 goals, 9 points. Oilers back in action tomorrow when they'll take on the St. Louis Blues. Also in the NHL today, Montreal Canadiens top prospect Ivan Demidov has joined the team on a 3-year entry-level deal. Canadiens selected Demidov with the 5th pick in the first round of the draft in 2024. He had 19 goals, 49 points in 65 games in the KHL. Canadiens in action tonight. They'll host the Red Wings just after 5 We also got the Hurricanes in Buffalo. Panthers take on the Leafs. Bruins in Jersey. Sens up against the Jackets. Penguins host the Blackhawks. Islanders take on the Preds. Stars, Canucks. Kraken in Utah. And the Vegas Golden Knights in Colorado. In the association, Michael Malone, who coached the Denver Nuggets to an NBA title in 2023 and has led the team to 8 consecutive winning seasons, was fired today with less than a week left in the regular season. General Manager Calvin Booth also done with the team. Nuggets saying assistant coach David Edelman will become the new coach for the remainder of the season. In the WHL tonight, it is Game 7. Oil Kings in Prince Albert taking on the Raiders. Winner advancing to round 2. Puck drop in this one gets going at 7 o'clock. In the AJ, we've got Graham Prairie looking to wrap up their series with Whiteport leading 3-0. And the Canucks trying to take a commanding 3-0 series lead when they meet Drumheller. Both teams at 7. BCHL, Sherwood Park at home hosting Salmon Arm. Crew lead that series 2-0. Puck drop 7 o'clock at the Sherwood Park Arena. And in the majors today, the Blue Jays are in action. They'll take on the Red Sox at 4:45. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan, and we'll take a look around the NHL with Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixers for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy.
Awesome.
Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:11. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's the Gregor Show, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor100. Get yourself a free casino bonus and more in the brand new app. If you don't have it, check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. We welcome to the show former NHLer, of course, 8th overall draft pick in 1995 right here in Edmonton by the Montreal Canadiens, who are making quite the run to the playoffs. Also stars in Shoresy, two-time author. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, it's been a real busy time. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm at Taran Samwit's place in Toronto. Just got done in Sudbury yesterday, and it was a long ride for Shoresy season 5, but we're all wrapped, and now I'm looking forward to some NHL playoffs.
Well, wow, I can't believe you're at Taran's house. I don't see all his pictures of his AHL career all over the house there. It's kind of surprising. It must be in a different room.
Yeah, there is no AHL career to Taran here. He has like 7 pictures up of himself in an Edmonton Oilers jersey, and he played 8 games. So everybody here on this block is completely buffaloed by Taran Samwit.
Oh, I love it. Hey, let's start with your alumni, the Montreal Canadiens, and you know what? 5 in a row. They've almost, not mathematically, but man, they got a huge game tonight against Detroit. But they have put themselves in a great position here. I'm not sure they'll have great playoff success just yet, but man, it's huge for a young team. And they've also got young Demidov coming in the pipeline too. Just signed him today.
Yeah, I think the key with Montreal is that, you know, the vibe is great. They're young, like the nucleus. They seem to be. Suzuki's a good captain. It seems that they're all coming into their own. Their careers and their talent and their potential is kind of coming to fruition. It's not always. I don't think any of those young guys have peaked yet, and it seems that they're all doing it together and they're enjoying the ride. And when you enjoy it, I think it makes them dangerous for next year. The year after, even now, you know, because if they get in, when they will, I think, you're riding momentum. It happened a few years ago, and Montreal are famous for it. How many times have they squeaked in? I mean, in my lifetime, and then you got the 70s Canadians, of course. You got who were dominant, and everybody knew it, and I think they had 3 or 4 in a row in the late 70s. But since, if you look at any success that they've had, whether winning the cup or just getting to the final or even going to a couple of rounds, it seems that they're riding momentum. Now, that's easier said than done for most teams, but in Montreal, you got that fan base. Each home game, you're down 2-0. The further it goes into the playoffs. And when they have nothing to lose, but they're still playing for something, I think that makes for a real dangerous combination. And I don't know that I'd want to play them if I, finished ahead of them and landed with them in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, if they make the playoffs, they're going to play Washington. That's pretty much what it looks like at this stage. So, we'll see. The Caps are a hell of a matchup. I want to get your thoughts, TR, as a guy who played as a 50-goal scorer in junior. When you watch Ovi break Gretzky's record, what went through your mind?
It was, it's weird. Leading up to this, I love when people chase records. And I think we've been talking about this for so long that it almost seemed expected. So it was almost anticlimactic. And when I sat back after the game and thought about it, and really, I've been busy. I don't know much input other than me and the boys watching it and driving down yesterday, but I haven't really listened to anything on or media-wise. But what I took from it, I was glad how he scored it, because he scored a lot like that. And whenever we look back at that goal, you're going to see a goal that Alex Ovechkin was kind of famous for getting. That's something that he's done hundreds of times. So I was glad from that point of view. And it just really said a lot to me when I thought about it. Like, it's one thing for longevity, but he doesn't miss many games. Like, I forget half a season in his career.
He's missed like 50. That's it. It's ridiculous.
And there's something to be said for that. Like, people go, well, he played all that time. I'm like, yeah, that's hard. When you play like him, when you hit like he does, and I mean, he still hits, but when he first came in, he was a truck. He could have scored no goals and still been a big-time contributor on all those early teams when he came on. Now, it just so happens he scored the most goals. Just think about it. Wrap your head around when he came into the league, right? Like, I mean, think about who was in the league still playing. And, I have a daughter that's 14 years old. She was born like 3 or 4 years, 15, after he came in. And he's been getting 50 goals that whole time. Like my life has come and I've got up and down. I've been here and there. Athletes have come and gone. People are born and died. Like, it's crazy how much time that he's been consistently getting 50, not 15, not 20, 50 goals. And I mean, he might do it again at 39. He's one of the top scorers in the league. So, I mean, people are comparing him to Gretzky for good reason. I mean, they both scored that many goals. But Gretzky, I'm not comparing. They both had mesmerizing qualities about them. But I think with Ovechkin, the thing for me is that there hasn't been many peaks and valleys. Like, by Gretzky, the end of his career, God love him, but he got 9 goals or something. He still had a point a game. But, Ovechkin isn't really tailing off like not only Gretzky, but any athlete his age. I guess save for LeBron, Tom Brady. Like, we're putting him in that category because he deserves it, and he's still dominating. It's amazing.
Yeah, like his scoring prowess is just like he loves to score. And I really liked Jenny Malkin's quote. He goes, he's not the normal hockey player. He doesn't work out every day and he drinks beer, right? Like he doesn't have the 6-pack body or anything. And it's, obviously you have to have some talent and, he's in good shape, obviously, but he's not the NHL. Now he's not burning up and down the ice either, right? So he has something a lot of other guys, like he has that ability to find the opening and he can just overpower goalies. He's just strong, right? Like his shot, you're 235. It's probably playing closer now to about 245, I bet. If we if we put him on a scale right now, hell, he might be 250. So he can get a little bit of more torque behind it, but it is fascinating for me to watch him, how he doesn't run around and hit guys. But for the first 15 years of his career, Terry, like you talk to NHL defensemen, and I remember talking to lots of them, they're like, God, the thing about Ovi was like, yeah, okay, you got to try to defend him, sure. But then you got to have your head on a swivel because he will run you over, right? Crosby didn't run you over. McDavid doesn't run you over. McKinnon doesn't run you over. They might run by you, but they don't run you over. And that's just a different element to have to defend.
Well, the only one I remember that being as, I don't know when he used the word prolific because Ovechkin is the most prolific, but Eric Lindros kind of went out of his way to look to hit.
Yeah.
And for what's that? Yeah, for someone that big.
Yeah, Messier was another guy, right? Like Messier was mean. Yeah.
That literally go out of their way to be mean, right?
Yes.
That go out of their way. And not every score, like that's a real rare thing. I loved Lindros. One of my favorite stories in all of sports never gets told, how he played in 1991 Canada Cup. He'd never played an NHL game. He was a junior, and he was one of the best players. But I just, he tailed off a lot. It was injuries more than anything, but that's what they say about longevity. Ovechkin, I don't know. He's one of the hardest hitters ever. People underestimate how big he is, too.
No.
Like he's running around, like especially, like you said, the first part of his career. And by that, I don't mean first 100 games. First 700 games, like he's out there as a terror. Like I said, there's not many that score as much. Well, there's no one that scores as much. But even on that level of playing, one of the top scorers that goes out of their way. There's people that are tough. There certainly are. Brendan Shanahan's tough, right? Cam Neely, they're all tough. There's guys that came in that era but still, Ovechkin came in and went out of his way to mow people down. And I'm glad that part of the story is getting a little bit of attention now. On the way here, I thought I'd catch up with and I looked at, 10 minutes, did some research, and the only thing I saw in the whole thing was PK Subban talking to Stephen A. Smith and a few more, and really stressing the fact that this guy hit a lot, and that's an important element in hockey.
Oh, God, yeah. Like he was a force. There's no question about it. Now, quickly, TR, we are going to get into the second segment because we got Dave McCarthy coming up next, but I'm going to give you some time to think about, and I think the Oilers have an issue of not having the natural internal response to defend their teammates. And I'll give you some examples after Dave so you can think about it as to why and how they can fix that problem. Because this is not just a Corey Perry taking an elbow from Gudas and having no reaction. It's a long-standing thing. And to me, there is a pattern. And we'll talk about how maybe they can change that pattern after Dave McCarthy on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the fortune coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Spring, where everything is coming up roses, except for GS Construction. We're heading underground, and we couldn't be happier. Spring is always a busy time of year for everyone trying to get out there and do some work. Well, GS Construction agrees. And we also agree that we just might need some help. So if you're looking to work and join a group where safety, teamwork, and continuous improvement have been at our core since 1974, send us a resume. Come work with us this spring. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protected at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.324. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. I hope you're having a lovely day as it's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And hey, stop in right now. The cheesy jalapeno bacon quarter pounder for a limited time. Cheesy jalapeno pepper sauce, perfectly pickled and picked jalapeno peppers along with bacon, only at McDonald's. As we welcome in from Sirius XM, our regular Tuesday guest, Dave McCarthy. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Good, boys. What's up?
Ooh.
Terry looks like he's in a palatial estate there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just up the road from you, me buddy. I was just at the Eaton Center. I walked back. I'm at Turan Samwit's house, planning the next month or so. Maybe we should meet on a patio and wear some cool hats.
Well, I'd take you up on your invitation, but Terry, the weather is -1 right now. Feels like -10. I don't know about patio. You're a tougher man than I am coming out from Newfoundland.
You can wear a hat inside. Hey, David, you can wear a hat inside. Right?
Oh, I wear a hat inside, but
Yeah.
I can't do it on a patio today. Holy cow!
I left Sudbury yesterday in an absolute snowstorm. There was a foot you couldn't see it was the worst snow of the whole winter wherever I've been. And I came here thinking Toronto's had some decent weather lately. Holy cow. I walked to the Eaton Center today and I nearly froze to death by.
I was pumping gas this afternoon and the wind in my face, and I was wearing jeans too, like Struddy. He understands what jeans are about. And they don't break the wind at all. So I'm standing there in like a windstorm, just getting absolutely assaulted by this wind, pumping gas. This has been the most like December, April of all time.
Well, hey, you're getting staying in playoff mode in Toronto. The Maple Leafs. Let's start there, Davey, because a while back, hey, finish first. You avoid Florida, you avoid Tampa Bay, and all of a sudden it's like, the Leafs have done well. They're going to, not 100%, but they look good to finish first. But suddenly the Ottawa Senators, they're screwing up everything. They're on fire, and they might catch the Panthers. What do you make of what's going to happen there for third place in the Atlantic?
Well, it's wild that 10 days or so ago it was, man, that Leafs-Panthers game, that's probably going to tell the tale as to who finishes first in the division. Now it's like, should the Leafs just give Florida the 2 points, make sure they don't get caught by Ottawa? It's amazing how it's turned in a relatively short period of time. Now, Florida's going to get some guys back, not everybody. Sam Bennett likely out for the remainder of the year. I don't think Florida's all that concerned about the remaining 5 games of the regular season at all. And I thought it was interesting what the Leafs decided to do, which was to start Joe Woll today against Florida and Anthony Stolarz on Wednesday night against Tampa, who still absolutely has a legitimate shot of catching the Maple Leafs for first in the Atlantic Division. I think Stolarz is going to be the guy who starts game 1. So, that's not to say Joe Woll is not good. He is, but they've made a calculation here, and they want to make sure they get the 2 points against Tampa. So, look, credit to Ottawa. It would be wild if the Leafs end up winning the division, face Florida anyway as the wild card 1 seed. But there's 2 schools of thought about Florida right now. Some people have said to me, well, are they ripe for the picking with Ekblad going to miss 2 games in the first round as he completes his suspension? Matthew Tkachuk hasn't played since the Four Nations. We'll see if he's back for game 1. If he is he able to jump on a moving train? Are you asking for it? If you're the Leafs, you get these guys back. If you're Florida, you get Tkachuk back, you get Ekblad back. They've had rest after going on long runs the last 2 years. Will that be a blessing in disguise? I honestly don't know what to think of it. But I think the Leafs, I don't think they're going to tell you that out loud, but I think they would prefer to face Ottawa than the Florida Panthers.
Oh God, yeah. I would like to I'd like to see it for sure. So it would be fun. I'd like to see the Florida Tampa and then Ottawa Toronto, if I'm being selfish, just because I think that would be the best rivalry, no question. The Montreal Canadiens, Davey, they put themselves in a pretty good spot here. They won 5 in a row. They got 5 games left. They're kind of like St. Louis to separate from the pack in the race. And now the Rangers, good night, Irene. They're done. They lose last night. Heck, their head coach, it seems like in New York, everybody's quitting. There is a huge game tonight, Detroit and Montreal. Detroit has to win that game to have any chance. Even then, it's a low chance, but still, they would have a chance. What do you make of the Habs? And then follow up with that on the Rangers, and probably the Habs maybe the best surprise of any team making the playoffs, and the Rangers obviously the biggest shock of any team not making the playoffs.
Yeah, if Montreal beats Detroit tonight, it's over. Montreal is in, everybody else is out. I think that's how big that game is. So, look, Montreal, I thought they would be better this year. I truly, truly did. You can pull the tape when I was on the air in August. But I did not think that they were going to be a playoff team. Improved, yes. Playoff team, no. But they deserve a ton of credit, especially where at times this year they have not been very good. But in the second half of the year, they've steadily climbed. So they deserve a ton of credit. And you start to see this group now with not just guys that are kind of grinding away and they'll squeeze in and then who knows what next year happens. You see a path forward here with guys that are going to be a part of this program for a long, long time. Nick Suzuki I think is playing the best hockey that he's played in the NHL. Cole Caulfield is never going to be a guy that's a defensive dynamo, but his ability is to shoot it in the net. He's done so. He's probably going to do it 40 times this year. He's playing really well. Patrick Laine has been a guy who's turned into a bit of a power play specialist, but Gregor, you and I talk about it all the time. If you're going to have success, your power play needs to be good. And Laine has been a big asset for their power play this year. Lane Hudson has been better than anybody could possibly have expected in his rookie year. He looks like Cale Makar light out there, where he's flying around the ice, carrying the puck from his own end to end. And I think he's gotten better defensively as the year has gone on. Their goaltending has been fairly steady. I don't think there'll be much of an issue for Washington in the first round if that's who they should face. Looks like it would be. But I think they deserve a ton of credit. And I think what these young guys will get, which is a ton of information about how the game elevates at this time of the year, they'll be armed going into the summertime with the knowledge of where they need to improve, and they'll be feeling good about themselves. And I think there's something to that as well for young players, because when I was talking to Dylan Strome last offseason with Washington kind of just squeezing in at the last second last year, and then they got pumped by the Rangers. But he said for guys who had never been there before on that team, like himself, Connor McMichael, he said that meant a lot to us, not to Ovi, who's been there, done that the whole 9 yards, but to us, the young guys who put in the work. We got the idea of how the game changes this time of year. He said that sent us into the summer feeling really good about ourselves, and made them that much better in terms of their approach and understanding where they need to get their games to. I could see a similar thing happening with Montreal if they squeeze in, whether or not they get pumped, which, I don't think they'll be long for the playoffs, but I think it'll be a really valuable experience for these guys to get in and not just squeeze in, but like they're running in, full guns a-blazing. But to get in and get an idea of where they need to get their games to. There's a lot of value in that for Montreal.
Dave, to go back to the Rangers, they've been in a dogfight to make the playoffs. There's been more downs than ups, it seems, for a team that won the President's Trophy last year anyway, but they still are in a dogfight. So what do you make of Peter Laviolette's comments that he doesn't go into the dressing room? I mean, I know he did. I know people that played for him. So is he saying I give up on these guys, or what's he saying there?
Yeah, I think that's being read into a little bit too much. Like, I know a lot of coaches that don't go into the room and rant and rave immediately after games because typically speaking, the message does not get heard at that point. Guys are, disappointed with how the result is. They're tired, probably in a pissy mood. The last thing you want is your head coach come in ranting and raving. How does that do anybody any good? I would expect that he is attempting to deliver his message in the film room the next day, but it's clearly not getting heard. How many times have they started over the last 2 or 3 weeks in the first period where you throw open the app after 20 minutes and you look and they've got 1 shot, 2 shots, 4 shots. And it's like, fellas, like the time is now. If you want to try and get in, you got to find a way to win some games. And the best way to do that is to start on time. They're not a good enough team where they can chase the game and come from behind and have success. They need to get out to good starts. Their power play has been abysmal of late. And so they can't chase the game. And the fact that they're starting off as poorly as they have been, to me, is an enigma. I cannot explain that. I don't understand why. But it's really disappointing. And the quote that I really thought caught my attention last night was not that I don't go into the room after games, was Art Panarin saying, if we keep playing like this much longer, we're going to miss the playoffs. You think, buddy? You think? That would have been nice. Would have been nice 3 weeks ago. Now it's too late.
Speaking of playoff misses, last year, the Blue Jays. What do you think of Vladimir Guerrero sharing a Canadian zip code with you for the next decade and a half? I know it's hockey here we're talking, but this is big news.
Yeah, it is.
500, let's just say $500 million. That's half a billion.
Sounds bigger, doesn't it?
Sounds bigger.
Yeah. Look, the Blue Jays were between a rock and a hard place right now. And I think he understood. That's why I always love when guys are like, yeah, I'm not gonna negotiate once the regular season starts. Oh, really? Because if they come to you with the number that you want, you're gonna say, no thanks. No, of course you're gonna sign it, which is what they did. And he understood that he is wielding all the leverage right now. The Blue Jays' attendance has been down significantly to start the year. They just invested all of that money. I joked about it a year ago. They invested all that money on the field. It'd be nice if they invested in the guys that they put on the field. You know, that'll get you could play in a Tyroleum haunted house, but if the team is good, as we've seen with the Blue Jays 10 years ago, that whether your seat is cushy or you've got a beer holder in front of you, or the vista in the outfield looks nice and pretty, doesn't matter. They're going to put 50,000 people in there. The team sucks. That's why nobody has been going. And so they realized they had to pay the guy. I'm not convinced that this guy is really as good as they think he is. You pay someone that kind of money, what you're saying is, well, he's 27 right now. So look at it for 10 years. After 37, you're never going to get your bang for your buck. 10 years. Are you going to be a guy that's a top 10 player in this game? You got to do that, 7 of 10 years, I think.
And probably in 3 years being a DH only.
Right. And he hasn't hit a home run the last time I checked yet this year. So, I mean, that's a lot of cake for a guy that has never really shown me when it matters. And
not 500, not $500 million.
The biggest impression I have of the guy is getting picked off second base.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. Like,
sleeping.
Good for him, but I don't see this team going anywhere. I really don't. And I'll leave it on this. The people who've been running the team have been here for 10 years.
Oh.
And if you look at their tenure as a stock chart, I'm sorry, but the line looks like it has the last 4 days on the markets over the span of 10 years. It's gone down.
Yeah. No, it's very true. Hasn't been great. Dave, one last one. The Western Conference, the Winnipeg Jets, big win the other day, and give them a little space. Now that when they meet Dallas, even if Dallas beats them, Winnipeg's still going to be in first place. So they're probably most likely going to be there. So then Dallas is going to take on Colorado. Then you got Edmonton and LA. Vegas most likely is going to take on St. Louis. When you look at the West, as we get closer, lots of people think the West has the better teams, but is there one you like the best? Like, is there one that you're like, okay, this is the team that I'll be stunned isn't in the conference final?
In the conference, like, that's hard because I think the series will be very difficult to project. Like, you're going to get some conference final series in the first round in the Western Conference. And when you get two teams like Dallas, Colorado, either one of those teams could be conference finals. The fact that Miro Heiskanen's status potentially for the first round remains in question could really hurt Dallas against Colorado. Jake Ottinger's been a little inconsistent as well. I probably would pick Colorado at this point, but I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas wins. That's going to be a heck of a series. Edmonton has been inconsistent, but they find a way to have LA's number. I think that series would favor LA if they can stay out of the penalty box. If they can stay disciplined, I think at 5-on-5, I like LA's roster better than Edmonton. I think it's longer. I think it's deeper. But Edmonton's power play is a great equalizer there. And if LA spends too much time in a box, I think it favors Edmonton, and in a big way. Vegas, St. Louis, like, I don't think we can sleep on St. Louis. These guys are not a team that just squeezed in. I think they're a good team, But I don't think people are talking enough about Vegas. I really don't. No one talks about Vegas ever. And they've very quietly put together a really nice season. Jack Eichel's playing the best hockey of his career right now. Shea Theodore is back, which is huge. You look at their D with him, with Pietrangelo, with Noah Hannafin. Like that's a pretty good D for your top three. And the guys that they have that fill out that blue line, Zach Whitecloud, like they're all just really steady, big, responsible guys. Their goaltending has been very reliable. So I think Vegas would beat St. Louis, and whether it's against LA or Edmonton, I think I would pick Vegas. So I'm going to go, if I have to answer one team, with Vegas. I'd be surprised if they don't get through to the conference final. I really like everything that they've done this year, how their roster is built. They've played well heading into the playoffs. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're not a flashy team per se. They're not fancy. They're just damn effective. And I just don't think they're getting enough attention. So it's a tough one. I think it's Murderers Row in the West, boys. I really do. But if I had to pick, I like Vegas a lot.
All right. Davey, great stuff, man. Always good to catch up with you. We will chat with you next week, and I'll chat with you on your show on the brunch on Sunday.
Right on. See you, boys.
There you go.
See you, brother.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. We'll return. We'll get to Ryan's rant, but we're going to be talking specifically about something that has been an issue going back a few years. How does it change for the Edmonton Oilers? Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order noodle at oodle-noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle-noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle-noodle.
When you see big discounts on a vehicle, you think last year's model, right? Not at St. Albert Dodge. They are continuing to knock 10% off the sticker price of every single 2025 Ram 1500 truck on the lot. We're talking this year's model. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year with a hot new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. The 2025 Ram 1500, 10% off and over 100 to choose from. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The Ford is a Big Deal event is on now, and it's a great time to get a big deal on a 2025 Bronco Sport Big Ben. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
It's another big goal for number one, Titan Supply. They're dominating this series. Looks like a clean sweep.
Spring cleanup is an easy win with Titan Supply. Not only can you trust them to lift, dig, and haul, but with their spring special on industrial brooms, cleaning grime, rocks, and dirt from parking lots, streets, and more is a breeze. Their service inspections help ensure you're safe and ready for the upcoming season. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.347. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's the all-new app, better than ever. Try it now at Play Alberta. Jason Gregor alongside Terry Ryan. And Ryan, we're going to kind of hijack Ryan's rants today, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your saving. And hey, guess what? Starting next week, we're going to have qualifiers again for our Here Comes the Sun contest, where one of you is going to win a $15,000 home solar system for your home. That is unbelievable from Action Electrical. So TR, I want to get your thoughts, and I want to, because to me, like, if it's just one hit, I'm like, okay, whatever, it happens. So last night, obviously, Gudis gives Perry the business. Nothing happens. But you go back, nothing happened when Ransonen hit Stuart Skinner. Nothing happened when Zadorov hit Stuart Skinner. Nothing happened when Brian Reeves KO'd Darnell Nurse earlier this year. Soucy cross-checked McDavid. Pietrangelo in the playoffs on Draisaitl. Like, I could go on and on, man. This has been a multiple-year issue. And I know Corey Perry after the rant that, well, we'll discuss it internally. Now, I understand that you don't have a lot of tough players who I get it. But to me, I believe this can be an organizational thing. Can be the coach that says, hey, on our forecheck, this is what we do, right? This is how you forecheck. You want to play on our team? You got to forecheck this way, right? Even if you're a puck carrier, you're dumping and chasing, you're dumping and chasing. I don't believe the organization puts enough of an emphasis on it because it's happened now for 3 years. Lots of different guys come in and out. And the instant response, TR. I'm not talking like later in a game, whatever. Even the Pietrangelo one, it's a playoffs, okay, maybe. They've had 3 years in the regular season. They've done nothing. So, and this is Leon Draisaitl, for God's sakes. The guy's trying to pretend it was Paul Bunyan on his arm, right? You're taking out Skinner. You're taking out Nurse. Like, why? And how does it change?
And of all people, you mentioned Draisaitl, and he plays injured all the time. I would want to just go to war for that guy. If there's one scorer, great player in the game today that I would want to go to war for, it's that guy, because I've seen him do it on one leg. He gives his team everything. That's the first thing. Anyway. What does it say to you if you just named all those times and no one stepped up? Now, combine that with an astronomically low number of hits. The hits just are non-existent almost. As far as NHL teams go, some of the least amount of the hits in recorded history. Now, what does that say to you? If any team, if you're going to use the word soft, you'll have to label them as soft, wouldn't you? If you're saying, who is soft? If you don't fight a lot, you don't stick up for your teammates a lot, you don't stick up for your superstars a lot, and you lead the league, or you are the bottom team in the league in hits. What does that say? We're going into the playoffs. I don't know. I sound like a broken record because I came from an era where everybody hit everything and there was fights all the time, and I know that. But if you can look at it objectively, I'm just saying, even within the league now, within the parameters of the league now, they're 32nd in hits, and they never stick up for their teammates. Now, I don't know I'm still picking them to go far. I don't know about the cup if you don't show me something. I know it's frustrating. I said to Connor before we started, I said, I try to keep up. And for the last couple of weeks, it's just because of everything we're doing. Like I read, but I'd like to see. Me and Sandman watched the game last night. I hope it's an organizational thing because there was a couple of times the puck goes back. Gudis of all people. This is before that happened. Yeah. I'm watching the game now. But there's a couple of times blatantly the puck goes back from center. It goes into the corner. Now Gudis has it. Now I'm Max Jones. I'm looking right at you. I'm 6'4". I'm 220. I'm looking right at you, and I've skated. It almost takes me more to get out of the way than it does just to finish the hit. And it's not going to be a rock'em sock'em hit. It's just finish it. Now, in my day, it would be because by the end of the game, there's a few reasons. Gudis is going to be worn down, first of all. Second of all, Gudis is the kind of guy that's running around. So let's just let him know that he doesn't have a free pass. And even if it's if it's a small hit, a 1 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, we've got to do it every time he has the puck. Third, other teams are going to see it, man. Other teams, you're going into a playoff run. These are playoff games. I know you're already in, but these are playoff games. So other teams are looking at that going, okay, one thing, I know they got a great team, but hey, maybe McDavid and Draisaitl will get hurt. Who knows? Maybe they're out. Oh, what we do know, we don't know that. What we do know is that the Oilers don't fight back, right? And if it's me and I know a team doesn't fight back, I'm going out. I'm not saying it's going to be hard to beat the Oilers, but if they don't show some spunk, they're in tight because people are just going to run them and run them and run them. That's what I would do. What's glaring here, guys? At any point, they might have a bad power play now, but it's going to catch on. Their penalty kill, who knows? But we know it could catch up to the Edmonton Oilers. But what we know that isn't going to fail here is that they're not going to stick up for each other because they never do it. And they're not going to hit us a lot because they don't hit. And those are not good things to be said about your team. And hopefully they can turn it around. I think they're a great team. I really do. But there's a lot to like about them. But to me, that's glaring. I don't care what area you're in, man. It's still hockey, and it's physical, and there's alpha males, and there's momentum, and you gotta stand up to that.
I look at it and I feel that the coach can set the tone for what's acceptable for your team or not. It's that simple, right? Like, yeah. And like, I love that you mentioned Jones because like Max Jones, he came in his first game. He had a great first game and people are like, oh, gee, big guy that can skate. And he can skate.
Yeah.
He can get there. But the fact that the Ducks are his former team, they're a team that basically gave up on him. You'd be like, God, I want to show these guys that I can do the most basic thing. And like everybody knows guys are coming back here. Like if you're Max Jones, you're like, if I even want to get a sniff in the playoffs, I got to do something to get noticed. And I saw it twice. It's funny because I had my notes. I was like, why is he passing up a hit? And so it makes me wonder, Terry, if they're being coached to say, guys, we don't have to hit here. There's nothing. We don't hit after the puck is being moved because you know what? The puck's gone. So let's not worry about it. And I just wonder if that's become an organizational thing because you got lots of guys who aren't finishing their check. Now, I say that, and Trent Frederick in 6 seconds delivered a hit and then was all over the game, and he's punching guys in the face. And, you know, my buddies are texting me like, oh, my God. And because it stands out, Oiler fans have become so used to having nothing that when Trent Frederick in 7 minutes, one time he goes in the scrum and he punches first. And guess what, TR? There's no penalty, right? Everybody's always worried about, well, geez, you can't take a penalty. Maybe you're going to hit somebody. And, oh, geez, we don't want to initiate it. Well, what did Trent Frederick do? Trent Frederick walked in the scrum, popped the guy in the nose. Guess what? No penalty. Nothing happened. And it was amazing how many of my buddies like, God, this Trent Frederick guy, she's really more aggressive. And I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to tell people that for a while. But it stands out when no one does it. And Max Jones, I thought is a great example by you. And I don't want to pinpoint on him because he's playing 8 minutes a night, and it's a hard role when you play 8 minutes. But to me, it's just magnified that you have so many players that won't do it.
Yeah, and like you said, organizational, although probably disappointing from a fan's point of view, would make sense, though. It really would. Like, if I'm looking at that going, okay, that's why he didn't, you know, because there was a series, I counted a few times. It's just obvious when it's a guy like that because he's big and a few times it was just like you kind of had to go out of your way not to make the hit. Now he got back into position. They're often in position, right? Like it's not like they're way out of position. It's sometimes maybe a turnover and they're outliers. But to me, it's glaring. Maybe to some people it's not. I'm glad you pointed it out too. It's not like we talked before this. Sometimes we do. I had no idea what you were going to talk about. But for me, and you're going into the playoffs, it's one thing if it's early on. I often look at that Matt Rempe kid, and I just he's irresponsible. If he knew how to like just put it together like a Jones, I mean, I get why Jones was a big pick, man. He's huge. He's got potential, but he can do that. And certain guys are out there flying around. They have no idea what they're doing, but the Oilers do. I don't know anybody in that lineup that's not experienced enough to go out there. And sometimes you see the scorers doing it, but just finish the hit. Like just don't be intimidated. Do something. And we're getting further and further away from where you need to jump in and fight. But Gudas did that. That wasn't even after a whistle. That wasn't while Perry was digging. That was just a guy going around going, you know what? No one's going to do shit. Boom. Right? Like, I don't know, man. And it was every reason to argue for the one meatball a team. And I'm away from that era too. I think you need to drop, but you need to have a couple out there. I'm sure if Kane was there and, there are Frederick's not in the, each team should have 3 or 4 at least that are going to be willing to drop the gloves. But to me, that was someone that just didn't care one bit. There's no one going to do anything. So here you go. Here's a chicken wing right to the face. Like, wow, I would go mad. I would lose my mind if I was on that bench. And it's alarming that people don't.
Yeah. Like I look at it from an Edmonton, and I look at, like, to me, the example is the Washington Capitals. I watched that game against Carolina, and the Capitals are losing their mind. There's one hit, and it's just like a gang mentality. And players are talking about it after the game. The order players like, well, I asked Gudas to fight, and he didn't want to. What? Make him fight you, or take a damn instigator, or then go after Carlson, or go after Zeke. You can't tell me, well, I asked, excuse me, Mr. Gudas, would you like to fight? No. Well, I tried, guys. Here we go. Like, I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Find the gamesmanship to get the guy to respond. It's that simple. Other teams do it. You can't tell me, well, I asked him. Like, what do you mean I asked him? Make him. You can make him fight, and you can't be afraid to take an instigator. Because I look at certain times of the year, take an instigator. Who cares? Not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, of course. And there's ways to do it. And so the message sometimes is more important. And I know what it sounds like. So I'm not saying go out and cross-check the guy in the nose, but there's ways to do it. Hit it, finish it, maul, get in there, like Perry does it well, right? There's ways to stick around and then like fall down and pull him down and get your fist in his face, rip his helmet off. Now we're in a melee. Drop him. Now there's just ways to do it. I mean, to try to explain it to an NHL player is almost redundant because you should know this. It's things that we're talking about that they've all learned in Bantam, really, to stick up for a player. There's no fighting back then, but there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it as I sit here and talk to you. And most people that are listening to this, whether they play it or not, know exactly what I'm talking about. And it needs to happen soon because we're going into the playoffs. And, there's teams in there like Florida that are going to feast on a team that doesn't fight back. And last year we went 7 games in the final, right? And the Oilers did have a little bit of spunk. I'm not saying that lost it for them, but this year is a different year. Like Stan Bowman always says, this is a different year. We're going in where it's a totally different set of players. We're going in with a different goal. Well, you need to have more spunk and find the physical part of the game. And I think it needs to happen fast.
Totally with you. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We'll return. Struddy's going to join us next hour and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. Refreshing and new. It's just what spring ordered at Booster Juice. Go for a mango pineapple fusion of the Bango Mango Booster Mix or the tasty tartness of raspberry and lemon in the zesty berry boosters mixer. Try them both and order them through the Boosters Reward app.
The Sports 1440 update.
Montreal Canadiens top prospect Ivan Demidov is joining the club on a 3-year entry-level deal. The Canadiens selected Demidov with the 5th pick back in 2024. He led his KHL club in scoring with 19 goals and 49 points in 65 games this season. on the ice. Canadians hosting the Red Wings tonight at 5. You also got the Hurricanes in Buffalo. Panthers take on the Leafs. Bruins in Jersey. Jackets host the Sens. Islanders and Preds. Canucks and Stars. Utah hosting Seattle. And the Golden Knights in Colorado taking on the Avs. In the association today, surprising news, Michael Malone, who coached the Nuggets to an NBA title in 2023 and led them to 8 consecutive winning seasons, was fired with less than a week left in the regular season. GM Calvin Booth also will no longer be with the team for the rest of the year. The team did announce assistant coach David Edelman will become the coach for the remainder of the season on an interim basis. On the court tonight, you got the Grizz and the Hornets. Cavs host the Bulls. Hawks taking on the Magic. Nets and Pelicans. The Celtics in New York to take on the Knicks. Thunder hosting the Lakers. Bucks and Timberwolves, and the Warriors in the desert taking on the Suns. Major League Baseball, Toronto Blue Jays will be in Boston taking on the Red Sox once again. First pitch set for 4:45. Couple games rolling on right now. Mets lead the Marlins 6-2 in the 6th, and the Guardians and White Sox scoreless in the bottom of the 7th. WHL action tonight. The Edmonton Oil Kings in PA for Game 7 of their best of 7. Puck drop in this one set for 7 o'clock. And in the AJ, you got Grand Prairie looking to wrap up their series against Whiteport, leading 3-0. Canucks looking to take a 3-0 series lead when they battle Drum Heller. Both those games are going at 7. And in the BCHL, you got Sherwood Park back at home hosting Salmon Arm. Crew lead that series 2-0. Puck drop 7 o'clock in the Sherwood Park Arena. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Hey, it's Andrew Walker, host of the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, which you can check out before all the games this season. A big thank you to Cross Mitsubishi for their support. We are Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Leader.
At McDonald's, there are new breakfast sandwiches with a secret ingredient.
A secret ingredient?
It's a little sweet, born in the cold, cradled by spring.
Gotcha. It's maple.
Well, yes, but let me finish. It's made
with 100% Canadian maple syrup?
Right again. It's a brand new smoky maple sauce featured in...
Oh, some new McD's breakfast sandwiches.
And you can try it
before 11 a.m. only.
Wow, you're good at this.
I know what I like. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
At Fountain Tire, our focus is taking care of your vehicle. Your focus? Saving up to 25% off select tires. Plus, getting up to a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires until April 26th. So we both win. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
Spring is sprung at the Varsity. Fresh new flavors are here just in time for the sunshine. Meet the delicious new spring feature menu with choices like the Spring Fling Burger and the Bourbon Glazed Brisket Sandwich, served with endless forever fries. Try the new hearty beef stew and the pulled beef rib poutine too. No meal is complete without dessert. Sip on the new Leprechaun or Bailey's milkshakes for some extra goodness. Check out the Varsity at White Mud Crossing. Find the full menu and order online at varsityburgers.ca.
What were your thoughts on the game tonight, Coach?
The game was terrible. We played like and the refs were so brutal. No more questions.
Somebody needs a filter.
Good filtration makes a difference. Napa Auto Parts' annual spring filter event sale is on April 7th to 13th. Come get your cabin, air, oil filters, and all other automotive needs for your vehicle. Visit your participating Napa stores in Edmonton, St. Albert, Camrose, Leduc, Spruce Grove, Fort Saskatchewan, and Sherwood Park. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular priced pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. We got a lot of text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having an awesome, lovely Tuesday afternoon. The Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor100. That's right. Sign up and you make a deposit to get the $100 bonus. PlayAlberta.ca. Some absolutely awful news coming out today from the Winnipeg Jets organization. Chaz Lucius was their first pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, 18th overall. He just turned 21 years of age last March and just announced that he is retiring from hockey because they sent out this statement from Chaz through Newport. He was recently diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, which is a hereditary disorder that affects the connective tissues that stabilize and support the joints and organs throughout the body. He was incurring and recovering from various joint injuries over the past several years. Thought he was just unlucky, but now the diagnosis of EDS, his body just can't handle the physical nature of playing hockey. So hope he's able to just live, a normal everyday life. But at the age of 21, Chaz Lucius has to retire from hockey. Of course, played in the AHL for the last few seasons. But, when you look at it, played 25 games this year, 17 games last season. The year before that, he was in the AHL and the WHL, only played a total of 18 games. And, so your body's growing the whole time, and then you have this hereditary EDS. So awful. So wish him all the best for sure, as it's a tough break for him and his family. A question. Hey guys, it's embarrassing that Perry's on an island with Nurse that will do anything ever. It starts at the top when management messes with the makeup, but it also looks bad on the rest of the team that they don't stick up. Nurse was lying on the ice in Toronto, and you knew darn well no one's going to do a thing in that game. From Mark. Well, I don't know if it's not like Fogle and Broberg and Ryan McLeod were guys who are leading the charge on being physical. Let's be honest here. But I do think that I look at some of the players that, to me, it starts with drafting. You can draft some energy guys in the 4th and 5th round. But we know what the odds are for any 4th, 5th, or 6th rounder to make it. So maybe draft a guy who's got a little bit of energy, right? That Clattenburg, they just drafted him, so maybe. But you have to make it a priority as an organization. You just have to. Right? Now, I wrote the article that the Oilers hits are down, and the Oilers hits are up since and guess what? Not surprising. I wrote the article on March 3rd, and guess what? Since then, their hits have jumped up significantly because I pointed out they were down 40%. So being physical is one thing. So you know what? I don't expect, and I never expect teams to just run around and just randomly hit guys for the sake of it. But when you go back and you go year after year from big plays with no instant reaction, and it hasn't changed. It just happened last week with Stuart Skinner, and Corey Perry's like, yeah, we'll talk about it internally. Then the next game, the minute there was anything, boom, they were there. Great. How long did that last? So that's why it's not natural, and it's not something that is made a priority in the organization. So until they make it a priority, other teams are going to take liberties. Why wouldn't you? Because even in today's game, that the other team isn't going to have an instant reaction. Because that's what the orders have shown. Go down the list of the examples. Like when it happens to superstars, Pietrangelo, what about Soucy on McDavid? Nothing. All right, Darnell Nurse KO'd by Reeves. Now, I get it. No one's going to fight Reeves. Okay, fine. Rantanen, Gudas, go down the list. And conversely, watch when the Oilers cheap shot a guy. What happens? So to me, it is something that the organization get some other players who are more comfortable doing it. Get a coach who's going to say, guys, hey, we want to play a certain style, but we stand up for one another. Like this shouldn't even be a discussion, to be honest, right? It shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to have the coach. Hey guys, if you know what, one of our guys takes a cheap shot, who cares? It's an 82-game season. If we can't kill off one aggressive penalty because maybe it leads to an instigator or maybe it leads to a roughing penalty, what are we doing? We're only going to kill off a soft hooking call or a soft tripping call. You can't kill off a penalty where guys stand up for one another? Like, come on. Can't do it. Hey, Gregor, when you're stealing someone's lunch money, you don't ask for it, you take it. From J-Rock. Well, that was, like, I heard after the game, well, we asked him to fight. It's almost like they're saying, well, we asked him to fight. He said no. What else do you want us to do? What? I'm not even talking about fighting, for goodness sakes. Go after the guy. Get in a scrum, 3-on-1. Get him a stinky glove. Just show that you care. Show that you're willing to want to do it. And at times they have, but not nearly often enough. Not nearly. So, grab a guy, ragdoll him, make him look like he turtled. Right? No one ever got really. Did any order? I can't believe Zach Kassin grabbed Matthew Tkachuk. And then, what happened? He got a nickname, Turtle. Right? No one got mad at Kassian for taking an extra penalty. No, it became a nickname, a Turtle. So put the onus on Gudas. Well, you want a turtle? Great, you're going to turtle. At least everyone's going to know that I was willing to do it. Because me skating by, hey, you want to go? You want to go? No, I don't want to fight. Oh, well, geez, I asked you. I can't say. Sorry, coach. Sorry, teammates. You know what? I asked him, and he said no. I'm not really sure what else I can do here. Like, really, this is such a quandary. No one ever has said no to a fight and then been forced to do it on a sheet of ice in hockey. It's never happened. I don't know how we'll do it. I guess we'll just have to let them get away with it. Okay. Like, come on. So now you can have certain guys who are more comfortable doing it. I understand that. But it has to become a team mentality that closest guy gets in. And then everybody else comes in. So if the closest guy is way smaller and is, jumping up and, maybe gets ragdoll even in a scrum, then we got other guys to help him. And you're willing to do it because you won't hesitate if the next guy doesn't hesitate when you're the one who is on the receiving end of a cheap shot. Right? That's how you build the team unity. It becomes anybody. I don't care. And that's what has to happen. Look at why I used the Washington example. Go back and watch that game. The minute and there's certain teams that have it. It's in their DNA as a team. You come here, you play here. This is how we play. Someone's going to try to take liberties. There's instant reaction. Watch Florida play. To me, it's a fantastic example. So, and until it changes, I think it's going to be a concern. Right. Hey, guys, start a scrum in front of their goalie. It's a guaranteed way to start a fight. Yeah, like there's ways that you could have got Gudas to engage. You can't tell me there isn't. You can't. Like, come on. Hey, guys, I haven't loved some of the verbal coming out of Knobloch this year. A lot about deserved and expected results and excuses for not playing physically. But again, it's a flawed roster built to me. Well, see, I don't even think it's about the roster, Mark. I'm not going to get into the flawed roster. I don't care who's on your roster. This isn't about, oh, you know what? Are we going to forecheck well? Are we going to back check well? Are we going to make good decisions with the puck? That's totally irrelevant. And the Oilers have a pretty good roster. They got lots of skill. They controlled that game start to finish last night. Couldn't score. I don't see roster construction. Now, you went out. Trent Frederick is going to add something for sure. But I just look at it, and TR talked about it. Jones comes in. First few games, he's hitting lots. Now what happened? Last night. So, to me, that becomes something that is the message is being delivered that it's acceptable not to be as physical, even though I know their hits are up. Trust me, I track them. You don't have to text me and tell me, hey, they've been hitting more lately. Yeah, I know. I'm the one who pointed out how bad it was. Trust me, I monitor it. It's not about hits. It's about instant reaction to standing up to when the opposition takes cheap shots on your team and takes liberties on your team. And don't give me this, well, we'll just get even with our power play. Yeah. How's that working last night? Right? Like maybe some games it might. Definitely not last night. So I look at the orders and it's a very simple conversation that says, hey, it stops right now. This is the new. You can always change what you feel is your level of commitment to your group. You can, hey, guys, guess what? I didn't make it a priority. I'm the coach. It's on me. Now it's a priority. This is what I expect. I have faith in our penalty killers. If we take an aggressive penalty kill, because someone's standing up for a teammate, we'll kill it off. No problem. But I don't think that's the message at all. And I think it's a concern for sure. It doesn't mean they can never win a series. Of course not. But if you open up the door to send the message to the opposition that they can cheap shot your teammates, well, now that cheap shot might cause one of your teammates to miss a game or two. How long Stuart Skinner been out? Right? Where does it stop? And could that be the difference? That unwillingness to stand up for your teammates opens the door a little bit for the other team to deliver a cheap shot. Does that cheap shot then force one of your teammates out of the lineup? Does that teammate's absent cause you to lose a series? I don't know. But I wouldn't really want to risk it. We'll come back. We'll ask Struddy about this and more when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vent, start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Spring into savings at the Brick.
Refresh your home with huge discounts. Get up to 35% off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Get a king for the price of a queen on select mattresses. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 or more major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I love the word April. April would be a good nickname for me because April is the month where we have the most quality used RVs on our lot. That includes camping trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, hoy haulers, big ones, small ones, and they're all in one convenient location here in Leduc.
Sounds like a lot of used RVs, Rick.
That's right, Bob. We always have hundreds of used RVs for you to see up close and personal. But in April, we have even more because the people who sell their RVs with us know that this is when folks are looking to buy. It's the best time of the year, whether you're buying or selling.
Sounds like you'll be busy in April, Rick.
You know it, Bob. Our team works hard connecting families with the right used RV for their outdoor lifestyle. With one trip to
See
No
cross-check
Bull, you can see more
McDavid,
RVs
Petrangelo in the playoffs. On
and it's
Stamp
great way
a
to
different
spend
goal.
it
Well,
in April.
And that's no bull.
NobleRV.ca. At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy that you're getting quality Japanese vehicles, not tariffs. Purchase a 2024 Mitsubishi RVR all-wheel control at 0% for up to 84 months with no payments for 90 days. Or get $7,500 off when you lease. Add in a $1,000 Conquest rebate and another $1,000 loyalty rebate. You can lease from $23,798 or as low as $89 a week with zero down. See Cross Mitsubishi in store for details. 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
423. Let's continue on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having an awesome Tuesday. Let's get to Struds On, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey in inter-provincial and cross-province competition. Looking to sign up a player for next year? Go to hockeysuperleague.ca as Jason Strudwick joins us now. Struds On.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea, and it is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing?
Great. How you been? Sounding better, buddy. Looking better. You got a little color on that face.
Yeah, it's coming back, buddy. It was a tough week. Tough few days for sure. Lots of gargling. What do you make of Struddy? Because I outlined it earlier in the show about a pattern. Big believer in patterns, right? And no response to Draisaitl, no response to McDavid, no response to Nurse. This year, no response to Skinner. Last night, no response to Gudas. Now, I heard them say, well, I asked him to fight. At some point, don't you have to do more? Like, because to me, you're exposing yourself to other teams saying, we know they're not going to react in the moment, so let's cross the line.
Yeah, first off, I don't know how the ref missed that call. I mean, come on now. Like, that's a clear chicken wing, whatever you want to call it. Like, you got to call that. That's what the ref's job is to do. And then you look around, Corey Perry did go after him again later. Darnell Nurse went after him. But Ratko Gudas wants to bring you in. He wants you to get involved with him physically and try to suck you in because he's not accepting that fight. And then, so the alternatives, you jump him and try to put him down. And you kind of punch him when he's down, but he's going to turtle. He's going to turtle all day long. So I think the alternative is to go after some of their other players, right? Go after, lean off some of their heavier players and see how they like. And he can be a little bit dirty, can run. Paul Colton is a hard guy to, Gudas is a hard guy to run because he's so strong on his skates. He's a really strong guy. But do you want to find out if Zegras is strong on his skates? How about Cutter Gauthier? Do you think it'd be nice to run a 19 or 20-year-old kid? How do you think that his teammates would feel there if that was happening? So, and then if Gudas comes after you and they say, no, we're not interested anymore. We're now going after these guys. So that's the way I think you make it happen. So the response doesn't have to be a fight necessarily, but you can make other people pay for decisions that he makes or has made.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that too. Like, I watching that game, Struddy, a guy who, and TR's with this, and he pointed it out earlier too, that you have a guy by the name of Max Jones, who I think we all know is fighting, he's scraping to, he's kind of holding a chair for anybody. Maybe it doesn't matter what he does, but you get in the NHL, and it's kind of your last hurrah. It's not just about the orders, it's about next season, and you turn away from 2 hits. And so I wonder, Struddy, and I was the one who outlined the story in March 3rd. The orders were 40% down from the last 3 seasons. Like, that's a significant drop. They're the lowest in the league. Now, they've actually picked up their hits, no surprise, because it couldn't be any lower, but they picked up their hits quite a bit here recently. But when I look at Jones now coming in, clear opportunity to finish a check and doesn't do it, to me, I wonder if this is what they're being coached not to do on forechecking.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. So let's look at Max Jones. Decent skill, good skater, big body. So what is he in the grand scheme of things in the NHL? He's not a top two line forward. He's probably not a third line forward. If he is, he's got to be a hardworking guy. He's got to make his mark by being a physical guy, and that's how you move up the lineup. That's how you get opportunity. So when I look at Max Jones's first game, he ran Rico Rantanen right over, blew him up, one of the biggest, strongest men in the NHL. So was he being told at that time not to hit? I don't think so. So he went out and decided he was going to hit. Since that time, he's decided he's not going to hit or is unwilling to do it, and that's fine. But you know what will happen, guys? And I've seen this so many times. When you choose that path, that they just show you the door. There's the exit door right there. You will be leaving the NHL and you'll be going to play somewhere else. And that's fine. That's fine. But if he wants to be an NHL player, he needs to have minimum 3 hits a night, minimum. And he needs to be physically engaged with other players. That's his role. Now, he might want it, might not want it, and I get it. He might not want that role. So look at the first couple of games, how physical he was. What's changed since then? Has he decided he doesn't want to hit? Or that might not be his nature. That's fine. But do you think a coach told him to stop hitting? I doubt it.
But no one hits on the team. So I guess that's why I wonder, right? Like, and when everybody's hits are down, then is the internal, well, this guy doesn't finish a check. This guy doesn't finish a check. So I don't have to finish a check.
Yeah, I do think that the guys, I was saying this all day, I think that they put the governor on their hitting. I truly feel they want to save it. And then McCain's not in there. I think that makes a difference. So now, not that he turned them up that much, from the numbers you put forward, but they got to start getting it going. But the challenge when you take something on your game, and whether it was conscious or an unconscious decision to hit less, it's hard to now get into your game later in the year. Yep. And because everyone's going and everyone's kind of feeling. So last year in the playoffs, I didn't feel the Oilers were pushed out of any games. I didn't think they were run out of buildings. I don't think that they were intimidated out of buildings. So we know they can play that style of game. We know it because we've seen them do it, the same core group. So they've got to hope that everyone gets healthy and gets back in there and starts hitting. Now, I don't believe that Knobloch coaches them to run around and just kill guys, but there are opportunities to get hits, especially when you're further down the lineup. I don't understand the mentality of not finish a check when you're further down the lineup. I can understand. Now, if you're going to run out of position, then yeah, I can see that. But if it's in the course of a play, especially a top defenseman on the other team, why wouldn't you put the guy into the wall and just slow him down?
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree, Struddy. Are there any teams that aren't being talked about that you think could be a sleeper here to win the cup?
Oh, a sleeper. I mean, there's good stories, right? Some of the lower Canadian teams, I think that's a good story. You know, the Canadians, the Flames are fighting for their lives. I love that story down there. Ottawa. And so the
and what's to be said about momentum coming in?
Yeah,
you played.
Yeah, I worry a little bit about the St. Louis Blues. They've gone so hot. Can they burn that bright for the next 2 months, 3 months? So I would actually probably be a seller on that group just because I'm not sure they can keep that pace. You know what? Maybe Carolina. Let's look at Carolina. I'm not sure how much of an underdog they are. But you look at their first round matchup, it's probably not going to be a killer team. And then they get another team in that division. You're like, it's not so bad. And you look at the other one where you have to maybe play a Toronto, a Florida, a Tampa, those types of teams. So maybe they have an easier path, and maybe that makes them a bit of an underdog in this, guys.
Did you think anything of Laviolette's? Geez, why am I having such a tongue twister with that? With Peter Laviolette's comments. Laviolette, Peter Laviolette. Good God.
Who?
That's the Ted Hitchcock in me. Won't come out. Struddy, what did you think of that? Like, I thought about it. I'm like, at first I thought maybe it was an overreaction, but then he made a statement. I don't go in there after. It kind of sounded like he gave up, but maybe it was taken out of context. I don't really remember any coaches never coming in. What do you think of that as an ex-player?
Well, you know what? I think that the challenge for head coaches, you only have so many words that players are going to listen to, right?
Yeah,
you only talk so many times. So I'll give Mark Crawford credit. When things are going well, the assistant coaches were generally the one that came in after the game and said, hey, this is what we did well, whatever. Hey guys, have a good night. We practice tomorrow. When it wasn't going well, he would come in and read us the riot act, and he was really good at that. Like, I'm talking elite at that. So he really made sure we knew when things weren't going well. But so I think that you have to be careful how many times you go in. So, I often think about, if I was a head coach, would I go in there every time and talk after the game? I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to. Maybe let someone else do you can pass the message on, but if your coaches are good, they should know what you want to say and how you feel, and then go in and say their words. So it's, without being in that room, it's hard to say, but I do believe if you talk every single time, like I'll give you an example, rest in peace, Pat Quinn. He talked to us everything, morning skate, after the skate, in practice, before games, after games. I think he texts me sometimes at night. Like, it was constant. And by Christmas, you're like, I'm sorry, that's enough. I've heard enough of him. And I love him. He's a great guy, but you can only burn so many words, guys.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Jason Strudwick joins us here on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Struds, when you look at the game last night, I know the Oilers had a ton of shots. They didn't have a ton of great chances, but overall, like, they can't be disappointed with a lot of their game. Defensively, they didn't give up a ton. They still had a few mistakes that led directly to goals. So, that's obviously a little bit of an issue. But what did you make of the overall game? And how do you evaluate it when there's no McDavid, and there's no Ekholm, and there's no Draisaitl, and there's no Skinner, and there's no Kane, and there's no Frederick?
I thought last night they really, obviously this is a bit of an understatement, they really missed Connor and Leon in the power play. The power play looked really out of sorts. I mean, I'd have a hard time recalling one really good chance they had on the power play, and they had 6 power plays. I know there was, some time lost and stuff like that, but that was a game that I believe with Connor and Leon in the lineup, they probably get 2 out of 6 or 2, whatever the number is, maybe 2 out of 5. And they win that game walking away because of the power play. So that's where, to me, it really showed last night that they missed those guys. And you're right, a couple of defensive miscues, it just, they were opportunistic. The Ducks were. Give Cutter Gauthier, some credit. The one-timer was nice. But that speed he showed on the rush, I don't think Bouchard expected that. And he skated right around him and just far side shelf, bang. So does Stuart Skinner stop that, or Pickard? Maybe they've seen that type of move before. I'm not sure, but I honestly, guys, I think the power play was really, really would have been a difference maker last night with a healthier lineup.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Emberson or Stetcher? And Ekholm comes back in, Struddy. You've seen them now both head to head. Who would you start with Kulak in game one, assuming Wallman's going to play with Nurse?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things I like about Stetcher's game. Unfortunately, the one thing he's challenged with is he can't do anything about it, right? You can't grow. And I think that in games he does get, just pushed out, not because of lack of desire, but I like the way he competes. I like the way the moves he makes. That's why I think it's right now really important for Emerson to leave that footprint or that message in the coach's mindset that, hey, I'm the guy wanting it because he's a bigger body. But I think Stetcher's played better recently, but you just can't control that size. And when I think of teams that win in the playoffs, there's very few with smallish defensemen that do well. But to be fair, guys, it's going to be 5 D-men play. The 6 D-men, is he getting 10 minutes a night in the playoffs? 8 to 12 minutes, I'm guessing, guys. And in tight games, he might get less than that.
TR?
Well, give me a case, Struddy. Give me your case. You're representing the Edmonton Oilers in court. Why are they going to win it this year when they haven't in the past? Give me the best case for the Edmonton Oilers. What do they have going for them to win the Stanley Cup?
I'm going to assume that everyone's going to be healthy just for game one. I'm assuming everyone's healthy and everything's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they know how to do it, and they're going to have players that are fresher than they were last year heading into the playoffs. We can argue about where they finish in the standings. They make it hard on themselves anyways. This isn't the first time. It's not like they've been the President Trophy winners the last 2 or 3 seasons. They've always had to start on the road. They've always battled, and they know what that's like. This team is battle hardened. But key players will be fresh, and I'm looking at Ekholm, McDavid, and Leon. The Frederick whole situation worries me because it's not like he's played with these other guys before and he knows what is expected in the system and all that. I mean, he's an NHL player. He can figure it out. But it would have been nice to have had 5-6 games. Now that looks like it'll be a challenge to get that many in.
When you look, Struddy, at the Frederick, it was funny in 7 minutes, because going back to our original point here, Frederick comes in 7 minutes, and I don't know about you, Struddy, but oh my God, like, look at this guy. He's punching guys, he's physical, and it stands out so much on a team that doesn't do it. And then unfortunately, he reacts right now. We had Grant Fedork on talking about high ankle sprains and getting into the science and everything behind it, and how, there's no rushing a guy back there. He obviously felt fine, but you don't know until you get in and deliver a hit, right? And so Knobloch did still say that he thinks that, hey, Bowman said it, they should all be back for the playoffs. He's obviously probably never going to be 100% healthy until like the start of next season. But what do you think Frederick can add, and how much of an impact do you truly think he can add if he's even like 85% healthy and not grimacing every time he has to deliver it?
Yeah, that doesn't help. So I actually sprained my ankle twice. And it took a year for it to feel better. So I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I was able to play. They basically casted it, and you just go put it on your boot and you just skate around out there. So luckily for Frederick, it's not like he needs to be Connor McDavid level skating, but his skating I thought was better than I expected, considering what he was working off of here. But what he's going to bring is physicality and some energy to any line he plays with. You could see that first shift, he was ready to run someone over. So now, he's not, let's just say he doesn't play for 2 months, like by the time, February 18th and all that, just to make the math easy. He will be just shot out of a cannon for the playoffs, and then the energy's high. So I'd expect him to bring that energy every single shift in the playoffs. And, where does he end up? I mean, I'd like to think he maybe played beside one of the 2 big guys. Now he maybe starts on the third line. The problem is you also have Evander Kane who has to start somewhere. He can't. So is he starting the 4th line? Maybe they'll do. I don't know. We'll have to kind of see how it comes together when they're all healthy, if that happens. But he's going to bring an energy and just combativeness that we haven't seen from this group. And if both he and Kane can bring it, that'll make everyone grow 2 or 3 inches and play a similar style, because they're going to get guys riled up. There's no better feeling when you're sitting on the bench and you see your buddies battling. You're like, I got to get in that battle. And it's contagious and it can really roll. So maybe that'd be another addition to your last question there, TR.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, no, there's definitely, there's an element of his game that lacks in the organization. There's no question.
Right.
And if you bring both of them back, and I don't even care if, like, I don't expect either one to be 100%, but even guys at like 80%, just the level of physicality, skill too. Like they're both some skill players, but you talked about it, Struds, how does their energy and attitude rub off on other guys? Like, do you think that all of a sudden maybe Janmark and Henrique and go down the list of other guys are just suddenly like, damn, okay, we're in a little bit of a fight here. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think Greg's one thing. So, if you're right now, you look at the bottom six, who's the physical leader in that group? I'm guessing Max Jones would be the guy. So you have a lot of guys that maybe it's not their normal way to be physical and get it on the checks. They some of them use their speed, others do it other ways. But now you put two guys like that. You put two aces above both of them. Now those other guys are like, no, they're average. Maybe they're not so bad. They don't need to hit 4 or 5 times a night because these guys are getting it on the check. I fully expect Ekholm to be physical. We know he can do it. Darnell Nurse can be physical. Wallman, I think he's shown he can be physical. I'd like to see him add a little more physicality, a little more stops and starts in his own zone as well. That's kind of a side note. And then Emberson is another guy I think that can be physical. And we've seen Bouchard actually kind of adding in there. So now we're talking, 6, 7 guys. Leon is grumpy. Connor can throw hits when he understands that it's time, right now, when he feels it's the right thing to do. Hyman competes. Like now you're starting to get a bit more of a group mentality, but you need someone to be the lead singer. And when you don't have a lead singer, it's pretty hard. Now, when I was at Vancouver Canucks, it was great. I had Donald Brashear as the lead singer fighter, and then Jason Strudwick. I sang every backup song, anything you wanted. We'd go into a game and you'd be like, buddy, if there's a problem with Chris Simon, I'll fight him. You fight the rest. I'm like, buddy, I'll fight everyone, including the Zamboni driver, if I don't have to fight Chris Simon. And so sure enough, there's a problem. I'd go over and fight this guy. If Simon had a problem, those two guys got. He was traded. And all of a sudden, everyone's looking around the room and they're like, we got a new lead singer. I'm like, where is he? Which guy is he? And they're all looking at you. You're like, I don't want to be that guy. And I was that guy. So all of a sudden now, Chris Simon was feeling pretty good about his life, as was everybody else, because it was me that had to fight everyone. So you look at that bottom 6, or just the forwards and as a whole, Kane and Frederick become instantly the most physical players. Now everyone's like, geez, we got our lead singers back. Now I can bring a little bit more. Maybe I can help it. Not that they haven't wanted to, but they see it and they model it. And then you feel more comfortable in that role, that more backup physical role.
Yeah. Well, it's try to anybody who's listened to would know that you're better in the backup singer role. So that would make a lot of sense. So,
they put the good looking people back there.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. In the back row, Struddy. Back row.
Behind the speaker. Go behind the speaker.
Lift your chin up just a bit. Oh, now we can't see the power alleys. Perfect. Awesome. Ready? We will chat with you next week. Have a great day.
Yeah, good to hear you feeling better, buddy. Take it easy, TR.
There you go. That's
see you, buddy. See you, buddy.
Jason Gregor, Jason Strudwick, co-host of the Got Your Back podcast, and of course, former Edmonton Oiler. We'll return. We got 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It is Tuesday night. The Brett Kulak of lotteries, the Lotto Max, 27 million. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins to 6 times and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble
Unbelievable. Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Mr. Rooter hits the link.
So I tell the guy it's leaking because you have a hole in one.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you have a better chance of hitting the green with a crescent wrench, you bum.
Oh, boy. It's my rival, Mr. Plunger.
You swing a club like you plumb. Lousy.
Lousy, eh? Hey, Mr. Plunger, there's a clog down there that even you could fix.
For a plumber you can trust, call Mr. Rooter.
What were your thoughts on the game tonight, Coach?
The game was terrible. We played like and the refs were so brutal. No more questions.
Somebody needs a filter.
Good filtration makes a difference. Napa Auto Parts' annual spring filter event sale is on April 7th to 13th. Come get your cabin, air, oil filters, and all other automotive needs for your vehicle. Visit your participating Napa stores in Edmonton, St. Albert, Camrose, Leduc, Spruce Grove, Fort Saskatchewan, and Sherwood. That's Napa know-how.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
A Tim's Donut and Coffee is the original collab. And now, any classic donut is $1 when you buy any size original or dark roast coffee. Get a deal on the iconic duo with a $10 donut, plus tax at participating restaurants for limited time. Terms apply. See app for details.
For Tim's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Guarantee access to this year's Stanley Cup playoffs by becoming an Oilers half or full season seat holder for the 2025-26 season. Limited seats are on sale now. Visit edmontonoilers.com/season seats to secure yours today.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, man. Speaking of backup singers, Struddy and TR would both be just battling to see who could sing this ballad. Oh, to Lance Romances will be all over it.
Well, I mean, one of us has already sang it in recent history. I'll let you guys figure that out. And I'd love to see that. I think that might be a good setting for when I come out there. Maybe me and Struddy and yourself, Connor, Dylan, whoever wants to come along. Maybe we head out to a karaoke bar, maybe after a little bit of supper, and see what happens.
Oof, I like a good karaoke bar. Now, aren't you coming in for the Alzheimer's Pro-Am at the end of this month?
So I don't think I am now, because I have an opportunity to do the color at the Allen Cup, and I might want to get into that after Shoresy Wraps, whenever that's going to be. I don't know how many more seasons we're doing. So I am going to be in Edmonton. I don't know that I'm going to be at that. I might do the Calgary one instead, just because the Allen Cup is on the 26th of April. The two teams that I played for in the Newfoundland League the most, St. John's Caps, retired my jersey. Clarenville Caribous, we lost in the Cup final twice. So they're near and dear to my heart. And then a couple of guys on Dundas are in Shoresy. So it's going to be, we're all going to go and watch that. But they asked me to do the color with Rod Black. It's an opportunity I can't really pass up.
All right. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. Saving you more is what they do right now. You want great savings of mattresses, appliances. Get them all at The Brick, including big screen TVs, 4K, The Brick, and TheBrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question 1. We know the Oilers can't just flick a switch and get right into playoff hockey, but when it comes to getting guys back onto the roster and trying to hit the ground running, what do you think the minimum amount of games they would need to really be ready for game 83 of the regular season?
The minimum amount, I think, to me, changes with each team. There's a lot of nuance, and the main players on the Oilers, the nucleus of the team, have been through all of this and then some. Adversity, as long in the playoffs as you could possibly go without putting that ring on the finger. So I think this is a unique case. I just think if they're all healthy and ready to go by game 1 of the playoffs, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a minimum number of games, Cons, because Evander Kane can't play in any of them. So, and I expect if he's ready, he'll be in the playoff roster. Now, are the Oilers even going to send guys to San Jose if it's that final game? Maybe if a guy hasn't played before, but we'll see. Like, I don't know if we'll see Frederick again until the playoffs, to be honest. McDavid and Draisaitl. I'll say McDavid and Draisaitl, Ekholm and Skinner. In an ideal world, if they could play, now might not be able the same game, but if each of them gets into 2 games, that'd probably be good.
All right. Question number 2. Now, maybe big picture, not just last night. Is there one element of the Oilers game that stands out above the rest that concerns you going into the playoffs?
Yeah, the main concern I have for Edmonton is still they'll go long stretches. They don't give up anything, but then they kind of gift a goal. And that when you gift a goal, it makes it so much harder to win. Whereas if you force the opposition to really have to work for their goals, it just grinds them down. And then all of a sudden it's like, great, no shots to do. Boom, turnover right on their tape, back of the net. I think it's demoralizing. So I've said it all the time. It's something that last year I thought they did a great job of eliminating it, is the gift goal. So it's reared its head again this year, and that to me would be the one. There has been improvement lately. I will say that their defensive game has gotten better, but until they can completely eliminate that, that'll be my concern.
And I already spoke of it. If they can match other teams' physicality. Now, again, I love how Freddie worded that and articulated his thought there with Frederick and Kane coming back with the lead singer and the backup singer and all. That is a metaphor, but it really works. Like, because you get behind those guys, man. And then all of a sudden, like, Perry's the third in line, and guys have a tendency, you might see more hits being delivered then, and guys have a tendency to be braver when brave people are around, leaders like that. So if they can match other teams' physicality, I literally think they're the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. If they don't, or if those two guys remain injured for some reason, I think you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Question number 3, with the Canadians bringing over Ivan Demidov, obviously their first-round pick in 2024, what kind of impact do you think he could realistically have on this group?
You know, I've thought about that. It's really hard to like translate stats from overseas to the NHL, even like to the AHL. I find it's often completely off kilter unless you're over there with eyes on. But what we do know is that a lot of great hockey minds say that this guy's lights out. And I can't see how adding them to a group of inspired young athletes on an inspired team that's historically got a knack for riding momentum, I don't see how that could be a bad thing. As far as points, I wouldn't even know where to start, but I think he's going to make an impact.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Well, the biggest challenge is going to be getting the, when's he going to play? He's got to get all the paperwork. And sometimes that takes a lot longer than you think. So he's a young guy, right? I think Montreal is a very young team. And so he'll fit in, right? Like, I think it's easier sometimes to just come on over and fit in, and people be like, hey, this guy's, you know what? Good. He's a little bit more size than some of their other water bugs, right? Like, I think when he's done growing, he'll probably be a 200-pounder for sure. He's 6'1", about 195, so strong. But man, he's a pretty talented player. Like, when I look at their depth line, at bare minimum, if he's on your third line, I think it improves the skill of your team.
Question number 4, Denver Nuggets making the move at head coach today. What did you guys think of this, and can it be a benefit going into the playoffs?
Well, they've lost 4 in a row, and I think clearly there is the fact that they fired both illustrates that maybe the organization just sense the fact that these two can't get along is starting to impact everybody else. And so now the problem is the assistant coach going to coach that much different than the head coach. He might have some ideas, say, okay, this is what we're not doing. Okay, we got to go. I'm not sure Denver has enough depth, though, all said and done, to compete with OKC and the other teams. But you know what? Like, it might cost them home floor advantage. I think that's their biggest concern here right now. So if it can salvage that, then it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I agree with Jason. And then, we're not around the I would think that there's probably a lot of more information that we don't know. And are they going to take the same approach now? I guess that's yet to be seen, but I'm not overly surprised. And I don't know if they got the depth to win it all anyway.
Final question for you guys today. It's National Zoo Day. So when it comes to going out, seeing animals, zoo, marine, things of that nature, what's your favorite spot and what's the first animal you're going to see?
For me, I like the Biodome in Montreal. It's a little area down the area. It's in the Big O where the Expos used to play. It's got each little. They're bigger rooms and they represent all the continents. And I guess I like the monkeys. We relate, right? Humans, we're Homo sapiens, come from that rung of people. I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? Not species, but I can see many similarities in monkeys, and it's cute to me. It's wild. It's almost like makes me. What's the word? It fascinates me when I see certain animals, especially mammals, that we don't see all the time over here, only in pet stores or whatever. Monkeys have always intrigued me more than anything else, because it reminds me, I guess, of the cycle of life and evolution itself.
When I go favorite zoo spot, I haven't been to a ton of zoos. Actually, you know what? The Calgary Zoo is actually pretty good for close proximity here. The Calgary Zoo is quite good. I don't mind Edmonton Zoo, but it's not on the same level, for being completely honest. And I like the giraffes. They're just such a unique looking animal, and just kind of anytime you see a giraffe start to run, I'll go with followed by very closely the penguins. They're cute little SOBs, and the penguins they have at the zoo, and they squat waddling around. So I'll go for giraffes and penguins. Cons?
Good picks.
Yeah, I mean, definitely good picks. I always want to see the red panda at the Edmonton Valley Zoo.
All right.
But last time we went, I couldn't find him. I don't know if it's hiding or what it was, but yeah, I like that. And anything just massive, like elephants, just to see how big they really are, just kind of crazy. Giraffe would be in that category as well. So those types of ones for me.
No, I don't love like I'd rather go on a safari. Obviously, it's way farther, right? To kind of see them in their own climate would be ideal. I think for me anyway. So,
yeah.
But obviously, you can't. I'm not just jetting off to just go hang out with the safari. But it is on the bucket list. It is on my guaranteed things that I'm going to do when I travel and retire. Is definitely going on a safari. There's no questions. I can't wait. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I'd like to do that too. There's a few places in St. John's or Newfoundland, but definitely St. John's, we can go, and the bald eagles are there, and there's nests. You can watch them. I'd rather seeing something majestic in its natural habitat. I'd take over any zoo. Not against zoos. I get it. It's all good and they're educational, but I definitely prefer. So safari to me would be just the perfect time and space to see an animal.
Yeah. TR, great to have you back, buddy. Good job. We will chat at you on Thursday. Have yourself a great day.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. And I'll catch you guys on the rebound in just a few days.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan. Just finished up shooting season 5 of Shoresy. It is 4:59. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month continues on right now. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2025 Sierra 1500 crew cab pro graphite. See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Montreal Canadiens top prospect Ivan Demidov has joined the team on a 3-year entry-level deal. He was selected with the 5th overall pick in 2024 and led his KHL club in scoring with 19 goals and 49 points in 65 games this season. Canadiens in action hosting the Red Wings tonight, getting going shortly. Also, the Sabres taking on the Hurricanes, Leafs in Florida. Devils host the Bruins, Sens taking on the Jackets, Penguins, and Blackhawks. Preds host the Islanders. Canucks head to Dallas. Utah up against the Kraken, and the Golden Knights head to Denver to take on the Avalanche. In the association, Michael Malone, who coached the Nuggets to an NBA title in 2023, was fired today with less than a week left in the regular season, along with GM Calvin Booth. The team did announce that assistant coach David Edelman will become the head coach for the remainder of the season. On the court, you got the Bulls and the Cavs, the Hornets taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, Magic host the Hawks, Pelicans in Brooklyn, Knicks hosting the Celtics, Timberwolves in Milwaukee. Luka and the Lakers taking on SGA and the Thunder. Suns host the Warriors in the Spurs in LA to take on the Clippers. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays and Red Sox scoreless in the bottom of the first. Elsewhere, Nationals lead the Dodgers 2-0 and the Mets up on the Marlins 10-5. The Edmonton Oil Kings in PA tonight to take on the Raiders, Game 7 of their series. That one gets going at 7 o'clock. And in the AJ, it's Grand Prairie looking to wrap up their series against Whiteport, leading 3-9. You also have the Canucks looking to take a 3-0 series lead over Drumheller, both games at 7. And in Sherwood Park, it is the Crew taking on Salmon Arm. Sherwood Park leading that series 2-0. Puck drop 7 at Sherwood Park Arena. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Hey campers, Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. They say life is about the journey, not the destination. With our incredible selection of destination-style travel trailers, we think life could be about both. We have everything from 26-foot tiny homes to 45-foot lofted villas that will sleep the whole family. These RVs are perfect for the lake lot, RV park, or acreage. See our inventory of destination trailers at any of our 3 locations or visit us online at carefreerv.ca.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 5 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. Of course, you can take the show wherever you like with you. If you have the app, download the Radio Player app, iHeartRadio, or Stingray, and you can listen wherever, across the province, across the country, even in the U.S. Just make sure if you're in the U.S., you're on 5G. You can listen to it. Hey, Gregor, speaking of animals, did you know they just cloned the dire wolf? It went extinct over 12,000 years ago. Yes, I read that article on CNN earlier today that the biotech company Colossal Biosciences is saying that they've created 3 dire wolf pups. Now, for those of you who don't know, the dire wolf obviously is larger in size than the gray wolf, bigger head, thick fur, stronger jaw. Top predator in North America. Now, it came from the canine that was in the HBO series Game of Thrones, right? That's kind of what it looks like. So we'll see. They have him in a special fenced-in area in an undisclosed location. Now, these guys have also talked about how they want to bring back the woolly mammoth, the dodo, the Tasmanian tiger. So. Because basically what they do is they take DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull. 72,000-year-old skull? And made healthy dire wolf puppies. Huh. Science is can be interesting at times. So we can do that. Maybe we can find a cure for some. Hey, how about maybe science can come out with getting rid of all the crap in our food? Just an idea. Just a thought. Wouldn't it be great if one of our governments, anybody, would run on a platform that didn't just talk about taxes and that's it? Like, I don't care if you're left or right. That's all it talks about. We're going to save you this. So save you that. Really? Have taxes ever gone down in the history of our time? I don't know. Start one new one, you lower a new one. How about maybe changing things up? Just a thought. Maybe what we're doing isn't good. Right? Are we getting healthier as a society? No. It looks like we're getting unhealthier. So just a thought. Run on that. You could win. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. Well, hey, they might not bring back the dire wolf, but they also they always bring back the important things in life: running water, getting to and from work safely on the roadways, underground infrastructure specialists. GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. And Spec, the Oilers, lots to like about their game last night. A lot of shots, not as many quality chances maybe as they would like, but you know, their power play last night, it was obvious. And the longer it goes when you're out without some of your key guys, especially 2 of the best offensive players in the league, you definitely notice it. And last night, their power play did not look good.
No, 0 for 6. I mean, that's the difference. It's a 3-2 game. So I can think of a lot of places where they could have got one more goal and got into overtime, or saved one more goal and been in overtime, right? They have 49 shots on net. You know, and lots, like Connor Brown had 2 unbelievably good chances, didn't go in. Janmark had a great chance at the end. It was 3-1. Dostal made a stick save on him. All kinds of stuff, you know. Bouchard hits a post at the end. I mean, there's Max Jones on a 2-on-1. I mean, but if you listen to the names I'm naming other than Bouchard, I'm talking about bottom 6 guys. If you got your guys back, 1 or 2 of those chances fall on the Draisaitl's stick, and he's a 50-goal scorer. So, that's a game you win if you got your guys. It's a game you should win. I want to say this, Jay. If you don't have all your best guys and getting to 3 is an issue, maybe you should think about trying to hold the other team to 1 a little harder, right? They gave up easy goals last night.
Yep.
The other guys got to 3 based on turnovers and breakaways, So you can't have it both ways. You can't not have your best offensive guys and then have your defensemen go out there and play that way, because you won't win even in Anaheim.
No, I totally agree. I thought, and that's to me still the one thing is, you give up too many easy goals. It's going to hurt you at times. And they've done a better job lately, I will say. I thought they've done a better job lately, but last night, again, it kind of reared its head. And Noah Philp gets the emergency recall today, which kind of signals to me that there's probably a low chance that McDavid or Draisaitl will be ready for Wednesday's game. Then you get to final 4 games of the season. Like San Jose, for a lot of people, Stuart Skinner, that's probably the best game to come back for on a Friday night. And maybe Matthias Ekholm and maybe one of McDavid or Draisaitl, we'll see. But, I could see them bringing him in. I'd be stunned if all those guys are going to go back-to-back, though, against the Jets and the Kings on Sunday, Monday, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're really into a full-on, they're not going to finish second. I think behind closed doors, they're resolved to that. So now they're not going to finish 4th in the division. Calgary's not catching them here. I guess if it gets panicky at the end, they'll figure it out. But my point is, it's all about setting the table now. It's all, sure, they want everyone healthy and they'd like guys to get some games, but that back-to-back, they'll probably treat a little bit like they don't have enough guys to treat it like a preseason game, Jay. They don't have enough players to leave 6 guys at home like you do in the preseason, right? They don't have enough guys. So guys are going to have to go, but ice time will be down. Like this is just a big dress rehearsal now for game 1 of the playoffs. That's all we're doing here. And they're going to win enough games. They think they'll win enough games along the way to secure their spot in 3rd place. And, that's where we're at, man. So they might as well do it the right way.
When you look at the order spec, and I know you talked to the players last night and they're like, well, we asked Gudas to fight and he wouldn't fight. At some point, don't you have to make him or, go after someone else then and make their life more uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think that's how I would, I'm almost 60 years old and that's what goes on between my ears. You're older than the players. That's what goes on between your ears. But I think we have to get our head around the fact that the players don't really think that way. Brett Kulak said to me after the game, guys don't go out anymore and force guys to fight. They just don't do it. And he said, actually, I'm all right with that. So I guess the game's past that point. Maybe we're the dinosaurs, or maybe we have to change, Jason, the way we think. I did think that their young guys and Strome and some of their guys were running around. They were for sure. The Anaheim didn't show Edmonton much respect last night. I'll tell you that right now. And, they did ask Gudas to fight several times. I saw Darnell Nurse talk to him like 3 times. I saw Alex Jones talk to him a couple times. I want to say, Alex Jones, if you're not getting Gudas to scrap, what are you doing around here? Yeah. What are you doing around here, Alex? Max Jones. What are you doing here? Right? You're a 4th line, tough left winger. If you're not making that scrap happen or fighting somebody else or bouncing Strome through the backboards, what exactly do you do on this team? Right?
100%, man. That's what I said, is that, a guy who came out guns a-blazing his first few games just hasn't really done much lately. And it's
making the book on him, Jay.
Yeah.
Every guy that we talked to. Sorry to interrupt you. Every guy we talked to before they got him said that's what he does. He comes here, he gives you a couple of games, and then you go, hey, whatever happened to Max Jones? And what are we talking about right now on April 8th in Edmonton? We're saying, whatever happened to Max Jones? Right? That's what we're doing.
Yeah, well, it's hard to change, and that's who you are. And now, hey, Max Jones is here as a depth guy and basically was brought in to fill the roster spot until Frederick is healthy. If we're calling a spade, I think that was part of the deal. So,
Well,
away you go. He's not going to be a guy who's going to play when everybody's healthy. And, so you look at the orders, and I asked Struddy, Stetcher, Emberson. Is Emberson still your guy just because he's bigger? Or the way that Stetcher has competed, is Stetcher going to be the number 6 when the playoffs begin?
I think they like Stetcher better. But, I mean, they're really close. Both guys do certain things better than each other. My nod goes to Stetcher. I nod to Stetcher on this thing. I think his competitiveness makes up for his size, that he doesn't have. I think he's solid defensively. Positionally, I think he's good. Yeah, you wish he was 6'3", but he's not. Right? But positionally, he's in the right place. He's not standing next to guys who are scoring goals because they're not attended to. And I'm not saying Emberson is, but guys do that. But it's never 51. He's not. When we watch replays of goals, Jay, I can't remember the last one I looked at, and I said, oh boy, that was Stetcher's guy. So I think it's Stetcher. What do you think?
Honestly, I think it's like, I know they talk about Emberson on the penalty kill, but I'm not sure they're going to use him that way. When you got Kulak and Nurse and Ekholm and Wallman, which I know is weird because it's all 4 lefties. So that's, but whatever. You can get away with it if you have to. And Stetcher, when he's been on the penalty kill, has been pretty good too. So my thing with Emberson is Stetcher moves the puck better. That's what I've noticed. He moves the puck better. He transports the puck better. And defensively, I haven't seen numbers that suggest that Emberson is way better defensively. So, yeah, I think it could be Troy Stetcher.
Yeah, and I think we're also talking 500 games to 100 games in the NHL.
Yeah.
I think I'd say, in Emberson's defense, if give him another season or two in the league, and we might, the journeyman small defenseman won't be beating him out of a job anymore. But at this point in his career, I think Stetcher's marginally better. If you're asking me who I would play in my number 6 hole on that team, I would start with Stetcher.
Okay. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, you're around the team, you get on the road. What are you hearing about McDavid and Draisaitl and a potential return date?
Well, they don't have one. I had a long talk with Stan Bowman yesterday, and, he's like, they just have these protocols, and he's really steadfast on this. Like, he never wants, the conversation started out with, did you bring Frederick back too soon? Right? That's what everyone in town is wondering. The guy lasted not even a shift before he was hurt again. And Bowman was very defensive about that. He's like, we've got medical protocols. He says, I don't even have any say in this. I just asked the doctors. The doctors have their procedures. He said they're exactly the same in October and November as they are in April and May and June. They're no different.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him about Kane. He says, I don't want to sound rude, but he says, when I don't have a guy in the lineup and he's not coming back, I don't even think about him. Until the doctors say, okay, this guy's close, then we start thinking about it. So I get to Draisaitl and McDavid. They're telling him it's within a week. That's the word. And he says, okay. That means it's not tomorrow and it's not the next day, but he is being told these guys will be healthy for the playoffs. That's what his training staff's telling him. That's all I got. I'm not in the meetings. I believe the training staff. Those guys aren't lying to Stan. And I don't think Stan's lying to us and saying they'll be back in the week when they're out for a month, Jay. I don't think there's anything in that for him. So
yeah, we had
go with the party line here.
Yeah, we had Grant Fedor on earlier talking about the high ankle sprain, and he went through the whole protocol and what you would do. And you can test it all you want, Spec, but you can't really test it. You kind of got it. There's the protocols, all the safety, everything. Yeah. And then part of it's the player. How you feeling? I feel pretty good, right? Like, sure. And then sometimes you feel good. Okay, good. We'll give you a little extra time. And then you get into a game and all of a sudden your energy, your adrenaline, everything's higher. And what you've been practicing, like, it's hard. Trent Frederick's not going to be plastering his own teammates up against the boards in practice, right? Like, he's just not. So how do you emulate that situation? You think your ankle's good, and all of a sudden you go to hit and you push off maybe harder, and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh. And then Grant got into way more technical than I can, talking about all the muscles that are aligned with it that come to a high ankle sprain and why it's worse than a low ankle sprain and can take a little bit longer and all the reasons behind it. And he's just like, sometimes Yeah, it's going to re-aggravate. Now, you re-aggravate, it doesn't mean you go back to zero. It might mean that it's just a pain. And he goes, the other thing is it's going to come down to a pain threshold. Like I watched that game and you were in the press box, so you probably can't see it. But anybody who watched the game on TV, Trent Frederick, every time you could see the grimace, right? And so I think part of it's like, maybe he's just got to get used to playing with pain, which sucks to hear, but that's probably part of it.
Well, yeah, I suppose that could be true. They always say there's playing, you can play hurt, but you can't play injured, right? And guys push that envelope. Like I'll submit to you that, was it 2 years ago in the playoffs, Draisaitl played injured throughout, and he got 32 points in 16 games or whatever it was. I mean, that was legendary stuff. But I want to say, like, listen, they also had a bunch of bad luck. Let's face it. A whole bunch of guys get hurt right at the end here. It's clearly cost them any chance at the division or second place. I mean, they just too many injuries, and it upsets your lineup and it upsets your special teams. So that's a lot of bad luck, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're getting close here. Like, there's a lot of guys that got to get healthy in a short amount of time, Jay, right? Playoffs are starting, like, what day is it today? Tuesday? Playoffs are starting probably. Well, it's Saturday, and for the Oilers, probably Sunday, but we don't know. But one of the days. We're talking now, we're into like 12 days away, and none of these guys are playing yet. Skinner's not playing. Ekholm's not playing. So, I'm not saying it can't happen. Like, maybe they had enough bad luck, and maybe now they're going to get some good luck. And if guys are healthy, they're going to be well rested, and they're not going to have a bump or a bruise, and the playoffs are going to start, and good for them. But boy, that's a lot of things that have to start going right in a short period of time. Is that not how you're looking at it?
Yeah, that's fair. And, I think everything I've heard from Ekholm and Skinner, that they're going to be ready for sure. McDavid, on the fact that McDavid and Dry, they're on the road, I think is a good sign. They're close. I don't think any of them are playing tomorrow, Spec, but no. I won't be surprised.
Who cares about tomorrow?
Yeah,
who cares?
I agree. I think I could think. I think, like I said, 2 games. I could see them, strategically picking out those games at what they're going to play in down the stretch. You mentioned they don't have a ton of extra bodies. One last one. What are you hearing on Derek Ryan? So Derek Ryan doesn't get the emergency recall, stays in Edmonton, doesn't go to Bakersfield. He had some very interesting comments. He was asked about, is he a leader down there? He goes, no, I don't say a word. I don't really know those guys. It's kind of paraphrasing. And now Noah Philp gets an emergency recall. You heard anything on Ryan? Like, is he just kind of like out of sight, out of mind now?
Well, the other guy's Dermott.
Well, he had him and his wife had a baby, and so he went away for the baby. Now he's back, and he played a few games.
Is he playing down there?
Yeah, as Colin Chalk told us, he came. We had Chalk on earlier, and he said that Dermott came back. Supposed to play.
I lost track of him for a long time. I'm not sure what's up with Ryan. I have not heard of him. I know that he's not in Baco to play there, and it sounded like they're not. Yeah, they're not. I'm not sure what to tell you. I think he's waiting. I haven't spoken to him, so I really don't have a ton to report. All I read into the situation is what you're reading. This is a guy who doesn't see that he's going to get any playing time. He's going to come back and be a black ace with the Edmonton Oilers. He sees no value in his own personal career in going and playing in the minors. At his age, I'm not sure that I blame him for that. I guess the Oilers could say, go to Baco and play every day, or we're not paying your paycheck. They have the right to do that, right? I don't think they would do that, or they will do that. And I guess I'd say to you, Jay, like, if you had 5 months left to work and 1440 sent you up to the radio station in Athabasca where kids start, would you go there and do hog calls for a few months till you're retired? Or would you say, oh man, that ain't for me?
No,
I don't think I'd go.
Yeah, no, it's very valid. Although I do like hog calling. That would be fun.
Like, if they farm me out to the Leduc Rep or the St. Albert Gazette, man, I'm gonna tip my hat and say thanks for the call, but I ain't going.
That's fair. Spec, have a good one.
Flyer.
Yeah, pardon?
The Pipestone Flyer. I'd only go work for the Pipestone Flyer.
The Pipestone Flyer. Well, maybe you could go back and end your career where it started, at the Gazette. U of A, right?
Yeah, the Gateway.
Gateway, sorry. Yeah.
The
Go
Gateway.
back.
There's a girl there, Caprice. I bet you I could beat her out for a job. Maybe not. I don't know anymore.
No, she's better. She's a better writer. Don't get too
She's
cocky.
pretty good. She's pretty good.
Awesome, Spec. We will chat with you at the rink tomorrow. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, man.
There you go. That's Mark Specker. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. We'll come back. DVD will join us, man. We got a boatload of texts. We got to get some of those. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Your partner in power since 1975 for all your electrical gear. EWEL.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Zesty Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2-4s for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:28. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 to get free, Gregor100. Old habits die hard. We got a new one. I want to give you more. Get Gregor100, Gregor100 at PlayAlberta.ca. Good luck. Let's go now to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. You can lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save an additional $3,500. Great vehicles, better service. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Derek Van Diest from NHL.com covers the Oilers, the Flames, Canucks, and the Jets. Joined us, and DVD. I want to get to the Canucks first, and when they write the kind of the post-mortem on their season, because I know they're not officially eliminated, but we we eliminated them, and they're done. They're 8 points out with 5 games to go. It's not happening. Good night, Irene. The fat lady has sung anything you want to use. But when you look back at this Vancouver Canucks season, how long do you think it takes for them to rebound? Because last year was a good year, but man, this year went backwards, and they got rid of JT Miller, who many can argue is a better player than Elias Pettersson. And where do they go from here?
It's funny you should mention that, because I'm starting to kind of look into that right now. Things got off to a terrible start, obviously, with Demko. Like Patrick Demko having that kind of weird knee injury, kind of hurt the back of his leg, and they didn't really know how to deal with it. He had to go out and find some advice from soccer players in Europe, because they had dealt with it a little bit. So that, they got off obviously to the bad start. He missed, I think, 25 games early in this year, 24 games. And then there was obviously the turmoil with Miller and Pettersson, and that kind of lingered. And Jim Rutherford talked. He said that they were hoping that they had it squashed a couple of times and it would flare up, and that's just personalities in the room. 2 leaders, not working out really well. Then you had Quinn Hughes, who was having a great season, but hurt on again, off again. He just couldn't stay healthy this year, and so there was a lot of issues with the Canucks team. But I think personally, the core of that team is still a pretty good team, and I think if you go to, you kind of reset this summer. If Thatcher Demko goes out, has a full summer of rehab and training, if he comes back and he's the number 1 guy again, get Quinn Hughes healthy, he comes back and he does well, you're going to have some money, because I don't think Brock Besser's coming back, so you're going to have some money to work with there. Maybe you can bring in another free agent. I think you can reset this team. I think this team last year they exceeded expectations. And this year they were below expectations. So I think next year they have a chance to kind of meet expectations. And I think this is the playoff team, and a lot will depend of whether or not they can keep Rick Tocchet around. I know there's talks that Rick Tocchet wants to, the Philadelphia Flyers want Rick Tocchet back. I think he's got a year, an option on his contract still. So that's going to be an issue. So there's things they got to work on, but I do think that the problems stem from the top on down. Like they've got to fix those issues. Like there's just too many issues with the Canucks right now when it comes to off ice stuff to kind of focus on ice stuff, and they really got to deal with that. And it starts with ownership. It starts with the way they treat media. Starts with the way they go out in the community, and there's a lot of things there that need to be fixed. And I think it'll really begin with whether or not Rick Tocchet decides to say they want to keep him. Is he going to stay there? I know sometimes he was so frustrated with the dysfunction in that organization, the dysfunction in the locker room, all the infighting, all the problems, but they have very good pieces. They have a strong goalie. They have a world-class defenseman. They have some guys up front. If Pettersson can come back, he's a 104-point player 2 seasons ago, and he's got 45 this season. So you look at that drop-off, he's got to come back and be the player that they expected him to be at $11.5 million or whatever they're paying him. So there's pieces there. It's just they got to clean up. But I do think that stepping away now may help them in the future.
The Calgary Flames, they're still in the mix, albeit that they need a little help. They're 4 back of Minnesota. Minnesota has the tiebreaker, so you can argue they're 5 back. They do have a huge game coming up on Friday, but if both teams win tomorrow night and they're taking on the Sharks and the Ducks respectively, so let's say then it's 4, and now you got 4 left. And even if you win the game in hand and you tied, you don't have the tiebreaker, and they finish with the Kings and Vegas. So is Calgary just going to end up being close but no cigar?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've made things tough for themselves, but I think Calgary's just happy to be playing games that really matter and count this late in the season. They weren't expected to do that. At the beginning of the year, Craig Conroy said, this is a retooling year. We're going to bring in some young guys. We're going to give them an opportunity. I don't think anyone expected Dustin Wolf to have the season he's having. Connor Zary, Matt Coronado, those guys are having some big years as well. So I think things have really come together well for Calgary, and I think they're a step of where they thought they would be this year. This is a team that was going to take a step back, retool, rebuild for a little bit. There was a lot of bad contracts that Conroy had to deal with, a lot of free agent contracts. He had to clean up a mess in Calgary, and he was able to do it, I think, in a couple of seasons. And now this is his team, and they can add to that. They got some good young pieces coming in. They've drafted well. So I think this is a positive step for Calgary. Even if they don't make it, just playing these big, meaningful games in April with 10 days left in the season, that's a big, big thing for this organization, and they can build on that. And I think Huberdeau has stepped up his game this year. Kadri has stepped up his game this year, and it's just a matter of taking the next step for this team. I think this team is going in the right direction. I think a lot of people want to see this team do well because the Battle of Alberta is a lot more fun when Calgary is good as well. So I think they're going in the right direction. Whether they sneak in, to me, it's irrelevant right now because they'll probably lose in the first round anyway. But if they're just getting a lot of experience playing these games, and it means a lot. And this is a team that was counted out. People said, "Oh, this they got off to a good start. They won't last till December. They won't last till January. They won't last until the Four Nations break. Coming out of the Four Nations break, they'll fall off." And they've been kept counting out, and they're hanging around. Now, if they can end the season on a win streak, on a 4 or 5 game win streak, all of a sudden you're like, this is, they could give themselves a chance. But I think right now you're feeling good if you're a Calgary Flames fan because you like what you see, and they're getting it done with a lot of young pieces.
Derek Van Gene joins us, Sports 1440. Get to the Oilers DVD, and what do you take away from last night's game, good or bad?
Well, I thought they played well, and it's a funny thing because this team gets goalied more often than any other team I see. Their finishing around the net is not good enough, and I don't know how you kind of improve on that. That's a personal thing. That's the thing that as a player you have to work on your finishing. You have to work on being able to bury those opportunities. They had some bad luck, the officiating, suspect at times. They got a little rough. It got a little out of hand, but Bouchard hits the goalpost in the dying seconds of the game to tie that game. Obviously, I think if they tie the game, they go on and win it. But I think what this is doing, not having McDavid in the lineup, not having Draisaitl in the lineup, not having Ekholm in the lineup, not having Stuart Skinner in the lineup, I think what it does is it's opening up ice time and opportunity for other players, and they're trying to step through it. Like they outshot Anaheim really bad last night, and they probably deserved a better fate. I thought they played really well. But yeah, that's the difference between the elite players. They get that half a chance, they bury it. And, those other guys, they got some guys there that work hard, skate hard, play hard, but they got hands of stone, and they just can't score to save themselves. So I think that was an issue that we saw last night. But I think this, in the long run, if those other guys are back and healthy and ready to go, I think this will help your supporting cast, because your supporting cast is getting an opportunity, and they're not moping around and whining and complaining, we're missing McDavid, we're missing Draisaitl. They're going out there and playing hard. I think there's just the one game where they got blown out, but they're playing hard, and they're trying to make, serve notice to Chris Knobloch and the coaching staff is, hey, we could carry the ball if you need us to. We could carry more of the ball anyway in the playoffs if you need us to. And I think in the long run, this might help out. But the Oilers have to get healthy. They have to have those guys in the playoffs. It's obvious. It's going to be a big, tough physical series against the Los Angeles Kings. It's going to get frustrating at times because the Kings still play that, sit back, try and clog up everything in the neutral zone game. It's a tough game to play against, and you got to make most of your chances. So that's the way I saw it. I didn't mind the effort. I thought the effort was good. But if you're not a goal scorer and you're getting all those chances, you got to work on your game somehow, some way, to be able to score on some of those opportunities, because you can't keep throwing 50 pucks on net and only kind of coming away with 2 goals. There's got to be more to that.
Yeah. And I guess when you can't score, then you can't give up a few of the easier goals that they gave up. So that's obviously something to work on. Noah Philp will come up on emergency recall basis. So unlikely Draisaitl or McDavid are going to be ready to go yet tomorrow, which is fine. The Blues had their winning streak snapped. They're kind of locked into that first wild card spot at this point. They're not. I guess they're still battling Minnesota somewhat. That I guess a little bit of a race there for sure. But you look at the Oilers, and if it was you, how many games would you want to see from Stuart Skinner before the playoffs?
What do they got? 5 left. Yeah.
I think he's playing tomorrow. So let's just say
no.
4.
I don't think it's anymore. I'd like to see maybe get the last 2 just to kind of feel the puck again. Feel good about it. I think, the Oilers still got to clinch a spot. I think that's the number one thing here is they got to get that X beside the name, clinch a spot. Then they're locked into that spot. Obviously, they're going to play Los Angeles. Looks like they're going to start to see the series in Los Angeles. So, but I would like to see them get back, feel comfortable, but maybe play 2. They don't have to be back to back. They could be scattered. But just if he's your starter, if he's your number one guy, you want him feeling good going in. And I think if he goes out there and puts in a couple of good performances together, he'll be ready to go. And I think that goes for a lot of other guys as well. I don't know if you want to start them cold in the playoffs when the intensity ramps up. I think you want them to feel their legs, feel their game, get a game or two in there. Obviously, Evander can't. But the other guys, I think you want to get them back there. You want to get them back in time. So when they go in the playoffs fresh and ready and they just got their legs on them and they get the feel of the game again.
DVD, as always, buddy. Great stuff. Quickly, give me your thoughts on, all the big dogs in soccer. I think it's like they're all in the top 14 or something. And the richest teams are going at it. What do you make of some of these matchups coming up?
The Champions League, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's going to be some good games today. This is where these big dogs make their money. Like the big monies in European soccer. This is why they invest so much into these games. And I think it's exciting to watch for the fans. But it's the same 4 or 5 teams every year, right? It's the Real Madrids, it's the Man Cities, it's the Bayerns, it's the thing. So if you're a fan of those teams, you like it. If you're a fan of a smaller team, it's a little tough. But yeah, this is why they invest all that money. This is why they spend all that money. And it's one of those things that further you go in the competition, the richer you're going to get, the more you're going to be able to invest in your club. So it's really kind of a repetitive cycle. So if you're young, if you're a smaller team, you don't have that opportunity. You see some teams kind of make some of these magical runs, but this is the big dogs of Europe. Remember, there was a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, there was a talk of having a breakaway European league with all these big dogs in it. That was obviously FIFA didn't like that talk at all. So so this is where their bread is buttered, not necessarily in their domestic leagues. It's these European championship games that are coming up that are big and that are important.
Who do you like? Who's winning it? Who are you picking?
I like Madrid. I really do. They got spanked today, but I do think they have enough to get back in it. I really do. I think this is a world-class team. They didn't play well today, obviously, but I do like them. I do think that they have enough to kind of, if anyone's going to turn around a 3-0 deficit, it's going to be them. And then Bayern as well. They lost today, but those 2 Spanish teams are going to be tough to beat, Madrid and Barcelona.
DVD, great stuff, buddy. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Diest, a huge soccer guy. So I'm always mixing a soccer question at the end. We'll come back. We're going to get to lots of texts because, we got a lot of great ones. We'll get to those. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Get up to 35% off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Get a king for the price of a queen on select mattresses. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 or more major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Your paycheck is about to get bigger. With Budget 2025, the lowest taxes in the country are getting even lower. Alberta's government is introducing an income tax cut. This will save hardworking Albertans up to $750 per person and $1,500 per family every year. Lower taxes mean more money in your pocket. For the full details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
All right, give me something big.
The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on.
Bigger.
Get a big truck and an even bigger deal.
Love it. Now the details.
Right now, lease a 2025 F-150 STX with the Black Appearance Package from $220 bi-weekly at 0% APR for 24 months with $43.75 down. That's like $110 weekly.
Now bring it home.
Plus, there's a $750 bonus for eligible Ford owners. Hurry into your Alberta Ford store or visit Ford.ca today.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot.
They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.545, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get to lots of the text. 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, it's Tuesday. And get in on Lotto Max, $27 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, boys, I, like many other fans, are done with Knobloch. He wasn't the difference last year. He doesn't have the gall to be an NHL head coach. Considering they gave all their young guys bringing torts to show the team some heart from Steve in a truck. Ooh. Now, to suggest that Knobloch, like they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Look at their numbers before Knobloch. Look at them after. He did make some tweaks, right? Took McDavid, Draisaitl off the penalty kill, lots of other things. I don't think you can say that he did nothing. Like they went to Game 7 Stanley Cup Final. Now, there's some decisions I don't like with the coach. It's fair, but that doesn't mean, well, I don't like this one decision. Let's just get rid of him. It's like people like, oh, do you vote left or right? You vote conservative? You vote a liberal? Well, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. Like, come on. We're allowed to say I don't agree with one element of him, but that doesn't mean he's a total chump, right? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like to get rid of Chris Knobloch right now, no. I don't think that would be the right decision at all. At all. No way I would be doing that. Hey, boys, do you think there's any chance to get Wallman number one power play time? Bouchard isn't as confident 5-on-5, doesn't look as confident on the power play. Antoine, I'd be stunned, to be honest. It's a right shot to a left shot, number one, so it changes a lot of different formations on their power play and when they like to set up some things. So I'm not taking Evan Bouchard off their power play. Like their power play when all the guys are there is very good. Now Bouchard's not the main guy, so I don't like their power play never runs through the defenseman, regardless of who D-man is. Right? It doesn't run through the D-man. So I wouldn't switch out Wallman. Now, if the power play goes, 0 for 10 in the first few games, then I think you could look at some changes, sure. But until then, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be doing it. So, hey guys, I would have thought Jones had a chance to address it, but apparently now thinks his name is permanently etched in the starting lineup from Hacksaw. Well, it's you know what? When the scouting report was that, like last night was the epitome of what was the scouting report you got on Jones? Good, lacks the fire all the time, and I think that's kind of what you saw last night, an opportunity to show it. Hey, guys, you think science can figure out how to make Bouchard's offensive game as good as an offensive game? Could you imagine? But now I just want to say one thing. Evan Bouchard's defensive game in the playoffs last year, no issue with it at all. Overall, like you can't just say, well, I didn't make one good play. No. Everybody makes a mistake every now. Sometimes guys are going to get beat. It happens. But overall, I thought Bouchard's defense game was much better. And now I'm giving Bouchard the benefit of the doubt because he's done it 2 years in a row when the games became more important. Evan Bouchard's focus, discipline, decision-making was better. I think we all saw it the last 2 playoff years. So that's why I'll be like, yeah, I agree. Has Evan Bouchard had the regular season that he would like? No. I think that's totally fair to say. But at the same time, I'm not ready yet to just write off Bouchard. I see people, you got to trade him. I'm like, I might want to hesitate on that. Hey, guys, any chance Kane dresses before the playoffs? Nope. Because now the orders are inside their final 10 games of the season. You can't put anybody on LTIR now because it's not only has to be the 10 games, it has to be the 24 days. So yesterday I was incorrect when I said Klingberg because it was 10 days, but I forgot about the 24. You got to do both. It's 10 games and minimum 24 days that you got to be on LTIR. So to put a player on LTIR, you can't do it within the final 10 games of the season unless the final 10 games also means you have 24 days left in the season. And the orders at the time of their when they had 10 games left, that's March 29th. And the season goes till the 17th. So you do the math, it's only 20 days. Would have been 21 if you did it on the 28th. Go to the 27th, that's still only 22. So not enough. Couldn't do it. Hey, guys, I'd take a look at Torts' coaching record before watching him as a coach from BG. Well, his coaching record overall is pretty good, is it not? He's coached a long time. He's had some success. He's won a Stanley Cup. Now, not every year was a banner year, 100%. But sometimes, when you get hired in certain places, then you know what? You're not gonna have it. So I look at Torts. He did win a championship, of course. Head coach in the NHL, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years out of the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the playoffs. So yeah, he's not being dominant. And you look at some of those teams, early on came into, I should say one less year out of the playoffs because the head coach in the Rangers, he only coached 4 games. So that doesn't count. So I'll take rid of that one. They sucked when he took over, but you look at Tampa Bay, took over a team that wasn't very good, got them into the playoffs, then they won a championship, stayed there for a bit, then got let go, left Tampa Bay, went to the Rangers, made the playoffs his first year, actually made the playoffs 5 of his first year, 4 or 5 years with the Rangers, then left there, then went to Canucks for 1 year, wasn't good, in and out, although they were above 500. Then to Columbus, missed the playoffs, made the playoffs 4 years in a row on a Columbus team that never really had a boatload of talent. I'll say this about Tortorella. He gets the most out of what he has. Has a shelf life for sure. And at his stage now, he's 66 years of age. He might not coach again, but he's had a pretty good coaching career. I don't think you can say that he didn't. Also, good luck to the Edmonton Oil Kings on the road. Watch the game. It's free online. You can check it out as the Oil Kings are taking on the Prince Albert Raiders. Game 7. It's the third time the Raiders and the Oil Kings have met. Previous 2 years, the winner went on to the Ed Chenault Cup. Once with the Oil Kings, once with the PA Raiders. So we'll see who can win Game 7 tonight in Prince Albert. Good luck to the Oil Kings. If they win, they'll go to Medicine Hat. If they lose, they'll come home. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring, looking for HVAC installers and plumbers. Go to legacyheating.ca. You can apply. You'll get competitive wages, hiring bonus, RSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and more. Legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. Following games are at the first intermission. Sabres and Hurricanes scoreless. Red Wings lead the Canadiens 1-0. Panthers have a 1-0 lead over the Maple Leafs. Bruins up on the Devils 2-0. Sens trail the Jackets 2-0. And the Penguins, the Sidney Crosby's 31st of the season, lead Chicago 1-0. Later tonight, Preds host the Islanders. Canucks in Dallas. You got Utah taking on Seattle, and Vegas heading to Colorado for a matchup with the Avs. In the association, right now, Wizards lead the Pacers 39-35. You got the Magic up on the Hawks 48-45, and early on, Celtics trail the Knicks 23-19. Later on this evening, Bucks host the Timberwolves. LeBron and Lakers taking on the Thunder. You also got the Suns and Warriors and the Spurs up against the Clippers. In Major League Baseball, top of the fifth, Jays, Red Sox currently scoreless. Elsewhere, Nationals beating up on the Dodgers 8-0 in the fourth, and the Cards lead the Pirates 3-1. The Edmonton Oil Kings on the road tonight, Game 7, taking on the Raiders out in PA. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock in that one. In the AJ, you've got Grand Prairie looking to wrap up their series with Whitecourt, leading 3-0, and the Canucks trying to take a 3-0 series lead over Drumheller. Both those games start at 7. In the Edmonton area, Sherwood Park at home hosting Salmon Arm. Crew leading that series 2-0. Puck drop 7 p.m. from the Sherwood Park Arena. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download